What up, G's and Gets? I'm back here, El Hafin residence. The last time I was here, this was actually the location of the fucking first Kicking It with Kicks podcast with your brother Idris, who we got here joining us. No drizzy, no party, so he had to join us in here in spirit. But yeah, like the first time was here with him, and now we're all together. I'm happy I'm with you, Joey. And fucking with you, Zachy, even though our last one got taken down. YouTube. Come on, YouTube. Don't be such cucks, you bastards. Anyways, Zachy wrote 2 pages of notes of what he wanted to speak about, bro. You sound like you got a lot on your mind, eh?
Yeah, well, it's been a while since we spoken about anything, to be honest. Everyone's been pretty caught up with work and personal lives and everything like that. So it's nice just to catch up and talk about modern day first world issues that we're all currently dealing with, you know.
Go for it, cuz. What's on your mind? What do you want to tell the world?
What I want to tell the world?
Pull up.
Pull up, that's the first thing. First thing, yeah, is to pull up.
Pull up or pull out?
Pull up, pull out. Get a bit realistic. I feel like I've been living in a fantasy for like the last 10 years.
It has felt like that a little bit,
Yeah. It kind of feels like that, eh? Like, I feel like we're in one of those movies, like, you know, like Running Man or something like that. It just doesn't feel real.
Yeah, one of those ones where like Groundhog Day, where you just keep waking up and it's the same day.
Yeah, it feels like that. Yeah.
Or when you have like half-wit retards running the countries and stuff like that, like it gives you hope, you know. Can you run a country? Is that what?
Yeah, well,
they're telling us?
Kind of like when you see these health ministers, but they don't look too healthy themselves, you know. I think we could do better jobs than...
What was the name of the one in during COVID? Oh shit, I said
the one with the
fuck.
The one with the buckled tape.
Kerry Chant.
Yeah, that's
from
right.
Punch Bowl.
Yeah. I actually got a shirt here, and it says I bought it during the plague. And it's
good one.
What was it? It says I trust Dr. Seuss before I trust Dr. Chant.
Is she actually a doctor?
Well, oh fuck! If she's a doctor, I'm a astronaut. That's all I know. You know, but yeah, like Zachy's saying, when you see people like that running certain things, it gives you hope. I feel like I can strive to be a lot of things in this life.
Yeah, but that makes me feel like I'm living in a bit of a fantasy, you know. You got like overweight health ministers, like how in any world is that okay? Like, why are we taking health advice of someone who has... What does she have? She had at least a few missing teeth, bro. Like
Pack-a-day smoker as well, I reckon.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
No, she
100% had to be, man. Teeth are yellow than fucking Simpsons characters, bro.
She was using the mask to wipe her nose, remember that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, she had something in her eye, I think. Or that
Oh,
might
yeah,
have
yeah,
been
she
Gladys
was
there, or just...
Do you remember in America when they were saying, don't like lick your hands or anything, and while she's saying it, she licked her finger to change the paper.
No, she didn't.
And then, and then we had, you know what's funny, man? Online, you see, I saw that video on Instagram, and then the first comment is one person roasting her, and then the second comment is someone like defending her, saying that
She's
you know,
doing the best she can.
yeah, it's not easy, you know, when there's a plague wiping out the bulk of the population, and we're not going to see 2024 and everything like that, you know. We had interesting times in the last...
Yeah. You know what baffles me the most is people now, when they sit there and they say, these health ministers, these leaders did the best they could in a situation like this. That's what burns me, because it's like, no one's taking responsibility for what's happened.
No,
you know?
No one's in jail. No one's in jail,
Yeah.
and they should be in jail.
Because you know what? Alright, let's just say this all unexpectedly happened. It wasn't planned, let's just say, in a fairy tale world. How is it that you can force something upon someone and say, you've got no other choice, this is it, this is the only way out of this, and then when shit hits the fan and it actually turned out to be false, no one's held accountable? And you can just say, well, we just did what we thought was the right thing. We had the health experts that told us this, and we've just wiped our hands clean. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, we were under pressure. We just need to do something quickly.
I think the mandates was the one thing that was just like, why do you need to force this? It's like no ABJ, no job.
Yeah.
That's the policy that these state premiers were pushing, like ScoMo pretty much cleaned his hands. He said, I'll leave it to the states. And then that's when the state premiers did what they did, enforcing these mandates. And that ruined a lot of people.
But then you look back now, and ScoMo, before he came out of office, he sits there and says, oh, no one ever forced you to take it.
Exactly.
Us Australians take pride in saying that we make our own decisions. And I'm like, wow, what? Like, because you didn't hold them down and like actually force them physically, you didn't force them to take it. You left people with no choice, literally no job if you don't take it for a lot of people, you know, and like, how are they going to provide for their families? So, because you didn't physically force them, is that okay? You've wiped your hands clean? Like, I don't understand.
It's so crazy, man. And the whole ABJ was promoted to be the savior of the whole pandemic, right? And it's so ironic because this is the first time I'm saying this on stream as well. My grandmother got a stroke from the AstraZeneca ABJ that is now pulled off the shelves because it's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The thing that they were supposed to save her ended up almost killing her, and now she's fallen like a severe depression, and her life's completely changed. She's pretty much 80% blind, can't really see. And not only that, when she was in the hospital, she copped the plague in there.
Yeah.
And she survived.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, man. Like,
and back
people
then,
need to go to jail.
Back then, wasn't AstraZeneca the one that everyone was saying was the most safest?
Yeah, they were forcing all the old people to get it.
Yeah. Look, it's scary because my parents they both got the AstraZeneca, so it's scary. But you know, we're living in a time now where you kind of just have to accept what happens. Like my uncle, my dad's brother, he got the ABJ, and then a couple of weeks later died in his sleep. And you know, normally you're not supposed to bury someone without knowing the cause of death. Like, that's just, you're supposed to do autopsies. They let us bury him and say, we will get back to you in the next 2 months with the cause of death. We were following up. Not until 6 weeks later, they came back and said he died from diabetes in his sleep.
Damn, man.
You know?
It's crazy. There's so many stories like that as well. It's not rare. It's not, you know, safe and effective as they constantly remind us.
These rare side effects that people are saying aren't so rare.
Not so rare.
You know, when you, like, I personally know a good 6 to 7 people that are on medication for life after taking ABJ. So how is that rare? If 6 people, 7 people that I know, just myself, I'm sure you already mentioned someone that you know, Zachy I know knows people. Like, how is that rare? What, because it's not every single person, every 10 is rare? Like, because I remember back when they were speaking about it, it was 1 in a million.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying at the start. So what, I just happen to know 7 out of 7 million people that have copped it, you know? Like,
doesn't make sense. The numbers don't add up.
They don't, and someone needs to be held accountable. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone will be, but it also doesn't bother me too much because I know that they'll be held accountable in the next life, which is the most important.
Absolutely, but I would love to see them held accountable in this life as well, especially the biggest encre of the pandemic, Dan Andrews. See, you knew who it was even before I said it, bro. The guy said not to look at the sunset. Come on, bro. Don't look at the sunset.
I've been like a pretty law-abiding citizen throughout my whole life, but if I had the opportunity to, man, you know, Dan Andrews, man, I would even fucking knock him out to his face, bro. I'm dog-shotting him. He's not going to see it coming, bro.
Remember we were in Melbourne?
Yeah,
we were in Melbourne, Zachy and I, and we were saying, man, if we see Dan Andrews on the street, it doesn't matter. Like, if there's, like, no matter what job we've got, if we're going to lose our job, we're just saying it's on site, bro. Like,
we're gonna take one for Australia.
For Australia.
One for Melbourne, especially.
Guys, they're just kidding. They're not being serious. It's just...
No, I'm talking about when we verse him in a video game.
In the video game,
Yeah,
right?
that's
We're
right.
playing 2K.
Well, we're all about peace and love here.
Peace and love, right? Yeah.
And inclusion.
Inclusion. That's a
Good segue.
interesting word of inclusion.
Before we get to that, but what about that whole fall from the stairs that Dan Andrews had? That went kind of like through the radar a bit, eh? Remember how he just apparently fell downstairs and was injured?
Was this during the pandemic?
Yeah, I reckon he got bashed.
I remember something like that. You reckon?
I reckon he got bashed.
Someone pushed him, allegedly?
I've heard theories, but yeah, they're just theories. I don't know if they make too much sense, but yeah, back to inclusion. You know, it's good to see the world's all coming together and including everyone, and no matter what kind of pet you want to be.
Yeah, but inclusion, I think, goes a bit far. See, like the problem that I have with this world, right, is that like I feel like everybody should be given a chance. You know what I mean? At life, at education, at a career, not at all this other shit, including like inclusion, including other genders into single gender sports, other genders into cubicles, bathrooms, people identifying as animals, you know what I mean, as furniture. People have been married by law to objects. Like
Is that how far we've gone as a society now?
yeah, see that's the thing. See, like once you got to draw a fine line with this kind of stuff, right? Once you allow one of these things, then I feel like it allows room for people to get creative. And people generally are creative, you know what I mean? Especially kids, like they have like wild imaginations, you know what I mean? Like as a kid, you think that you're a rhino, you know, start charging at people, and then the next day you might feel like someone else.
That'll be useful for tackle bullrush.
Well, I'm like, the way I look at it is, if someone took me to a roof when I was a kid and said, like, if my mum or dad said, you know, you can fly, you just got to jump off this roof, I would have done it. If they said, oh, this is how you gain superpowers, you know, I would have done it, because your brain's not developed. So telling these kids you can be whatever, you know, your 3-year-old can be a opposite sex. Like, I reckon if my mum and dad told me as a kid, like, you know, if you want to, you can be a girl, I reckon I probably would have thought about it. You know, like, our brains weren't developed.
The kids are more suggestible to these ideas because their brain hasn't fully developed.
It doesn't develop that young. So when you're giving them the option and you're giving them treatments, you know,
it's always in their faces as well. Like
everywhere you look now, it's
Pride Month, like it's a whole month.
It's a whole month.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do like a Remembrance Day, it's one day.
Yeah.
You know, Anzac Day is one day.
The people,
you know? So the people that fought for our country, that actually went in the front line for us, it's one day. Yeah, we got a whole month. And what baffles me the most is these people sit there and they say, we are still till now, we're so oppressed. I say it's the opposite. They have more rights than us.
They're more protected than normal people. It's like an exclusive club, right? And not to diminish anything away if you're gay or whatever, you know what I mean? It's a free life, do whatever you want, but it gets to a certain point where it's just, come on, man, we got to draw the line in the sand. Guys can't be girls, girls can't be guys. Like, they're injecting themselves with the hormones and the blockers
young
and all that
kids,
sort
man,
of stuff.
4-year-olds,
Young kids fucking up their lives.
Come on, man. Like,
too much.
Like I said, if I was young enough and someone said, take this pill and you can be this, you can be that, I probably would have taken it, you know? So I think what Zachy was saying, like, you need to draw a fine line, like, with stuff like this. And, you know, like you said, be what you want to be. Like, when you're at that age to make the decision. I think it was Vladimir Putin. I think he, like, no one's allowed to try and teach people to be a certain gender or anything until they're 18 to make their own choice. And someone tried to ridicule him, and he goes, there's not one person in jail for choosing to be, like, gay. We've got no one in there. We just don't believe that you should be making that decision until you're that age. Even 18 in my eyes is too young. Like, 2 years ago when I was 23, I've learned so much since then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so...
Well, that's like a few issues that we have, right? So you got to be 18 to go clubbing. You got to be 18 to...
Get a tattoo.
Yeah, get a tattoo, leave school. There's a lot of things that you need to be
America.
18. You need to, if you want to get a gun, you got to be 18. If you want to do all these kinds of steps, you need to be 18. But if you want to change your gender, you can do it in school.
In America, it's 21 to drink.
Yeah.
So you're telling someone you cannot drink. Why? Because they don't think you're old enough to make that decision. Okay, yeah, that's fair. But you can make a life-changing, life-altering decision at the age of, 8? Like, where is the logic behind
Yeah,
it?
and there's no coming back from that.
And there's no coming back. Like, how many videos have I watched of people that have gone through these sex changes and are regretting it?
Yeah.
And they're sitting there and they're saying, like, we were too young to make this decision.
But have you seen what's happened to them as well? So, like, the puberty blockers that they're taking, one of them is called Lupron. So, the puberty blockers, the medications that they're giving these kids is the same medications that they use for pedophiles and
castrate them.
sex offenders, to castrate them. So, they're not as hormonal when they go to prison. And so they don't go and sexually assault other inmates. That's the same medication that they're giving kids. And what's happening to these kids is that they're obviously growing up, they're starting to have bodily functions, and they need to undergo surgeries, operations. All of it is quite expensive, and who profits out of all these surgeries, all the medication, all the psych appointments, the counselling, all the therapy? Who profits from them, boys?
The same people that profit from the ABJ.
So what we've done is we're targeting a certain group of people who have already caused two major issues that we're dealing with today. One is the ABJ and how everybody is scared to leave the house these days, and if someone sneezes in someone's direction, then everybody hits the legs. And the second is the
Promotion of all of this inclusion, that's the thing, and it's very smart the way they've done it, because who doesn't want to include people? Like, a way to get people to listen is, all right, well, if you accept this, you're inclusive, you're a good person.
Yeah.
But if you don't accept it, you're a bad person.
They give you the guilt trip.
It's all about a guilt trip. Same thing that happened during the plague that we went through a few years back. If you didn't get ABJ'd, what, you don't care about your grandmother?
Yeah, you want granny to die.
Yeah, you want granny to die. They were telling you, if you see your neighbour in the shopping centre, you walk past them, you don't even say hello. And they're making people feel guilty.
Absolutely.
That if you stopped and said hello to your neighbour out in public, you didn't care about the repercussions of that.
Yeah. Call Crime Stoppers on people who are breaking the rules.
snitch on your neighbours, on your friends.
Snitching society. What the hell, man?
So that's what I'm saying. It's all back to that guilt trip. So how many people, maybe not as strong-minded as us, will be like, because I know that there is definitely people that are accepting this, not by choice, because society is telling them this is the way to be a good person, by accepting this stuff.
Yeah.
And to a point, yeah. I don't think it's right to go out and judge someone for being gay if they're keeping it to themselves in their own little closet.
I agree. I've got no problem with
There's
it,
no
man.
problem.
If someone has a certain sexual preference, man, it's up to them. But as soon as kids start getting involved and all this,
That's where the problems arise.
That's the problem.
Why are kids having Pride Day at school? Why are they sitting down being introduced to this sort of stuff? I
Drag queen
remember
story time.
It wasn't maybe until year 6 that I first learnt what genitals were and what the functions, or what the functions were. You know what I mean? What guys have and what women have, and then you know what I mean. There was no in between.
Look,
It was either this or this, and there was nothing in between.
I was pretty well developed, because I grew up with 3 older brothers.
Yeah.
And I remember in year 7, when I was in PE, I was asking my teacher, is there a way for my mum to get pregnant while wearing clothes? Because I couldn't even picture that sort of stuff. Nowadays, it's, you ask a year 3, year 4, they know everything about sex. And this leads to other topics along the lines of songs that people are listening to. The
music industry.
The music industry,
Wet
which
ass
is
pussy.
exactly.
Wap.
I was working in a high school when that song came out, and the school that I was working at, 3 or 4 girls were laying on the floor, humping the floor, doing a TikTok to that song. In year 7.
In year 7.
And the teachers get up, girls, come on.
Yeah.
That was it. And so that song, WAP, wet ass pussy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or whatever.
No, that's alright. Pussy's fine. It's just the plague that we can't mention.
So that song, if you not that I've listened to the whole song, but the whole thing about that song is this girl being attractive because her pussy is wet.
Damn.
That is the whole song. And that the whole Nicki Minaj, Cardi B and all of that, they're people that, I remember I asked a girl once, why do you respect Nicki Minaj so much? and she goes, because she's just confident, to show her body, and she's just empowering women.
Yeah. It's always
And I'm like,
empowering.
"Whoa,"
women.
and this girl wasn't young either. She was 26 at the time. And I'm like, wow, so that's the mindset that these women that are talking about sex and having threesomes with two guys are empowering women.
Mm.
This is what empowering women is. Not raising your family, bringing your children up, taking care of the home while the husband's out working. That's not empowering women, I don't know, it just baffles me, man.
But these days, you know how it is, but there's OnlyFans influencers who girls look up to that seem like empowering. What? Because they can drive a car. It's easy to sell your soul and go drive a nice car and go get a nice house and all this stuff like that. But what kind of legacy are you leaving behind? And then
Well, it's like the quote from the Bible where Jesus says something along the lines of, this is, don't quote me, it's not how he says it, but it's something along the lines of, what's the point of all the materialistic items if you don't have your soul?
Yeah.
And it's so true. I remember I came across this girl's Instagram page, and she was an OnlyFans model.
I believe it's Matthew. You know what I mean? What good is it if you gain the world but lose your soul in the
That's
process?
the one. And this girl's Instagram page, so she's an OnlyFans model, and she bought a new car, and she was telling girls, do what you believe is right. 3 years ago I could have never dreamed to have bought this car, but I've worked my ass off to buy it. And she made her money from OnlyFans. So that was her working her ass off.
Oh,
So
she definitely worked that out.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, you know what? She wasn't wrong, eh? But yeah, so that's the logic now of, it just comes down to whether you want to sell your soul or not. See, I think you're going to have to answer for this in the next life.
Alright, I'm in a bit of a different position from you boys. So, Kix, you're married, right?
Yep.
How long have you been married for?
2 years.
2 years. Joseph, you're in a relationship?
2 years.
2 years as well. Alright, I'm 30. I have a friendship group, close-knit boys, maybe of about 15, close to 20. I think there's maybe 3 who are taken, and the rest are single at 30. Why are people older these days still single?
Because the quality of women.
What's the difference
That's what I'm
between
saying.
now and 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when everybody was getting married, having kids? You know what I mean? Most families were starting at about 25, 26.
Because 30 years ago, you didn't really have to worry about
Body
the history of these women.
Body counts.
The history.
What's your body count?
Body count.
That's the first question you ask on a
do you
date.
remember- oath it is
do you
the
remember,
first question.
Do you remember 10 years ago how even just as simple as trying to get Snapchats of a girl in her bikini or something was like...
You had to put in a lot of groundwork.
Like when we were at high school,
Yeah,
it was like,
yeah.
bro, she sent me a photo in her bra. That was like full on... nowadays you just go on it. Nowadays, I've seen pages pop up on Instagram where the girl's wearing a see-through bra. You can literally see her nipples.
No imagination needed.
No, but because there's some sort of fabric kind of covering it
On the nipples.
not even, just around it, it's considered not nude.
Yeah.
You don't even need to work for it
I
anymore.
was talking to Mick at dinner because I was telling him that our
Mixed up?
podcast... No, my brother Michael.
Michael.
I was telling him that our podcast got cancelled and the other one that we had done got cancelled as well.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, but I go on Instagram and it's pretty much soft porn on Instagram. Because
Pretty
you go
much,
in, you
yeah.
can see girls in G-bangers, you can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
all this...
And you know what's
revealing
another
clothing.
thing? I was telling my missus the other day. Do you know, if you pull out Instagram, it does not matter which name of a female you type into the search bar. Let's just say the name
Dolores.
Dolores. If you type it in and you don't press on any accounts, you just press enter and search, photos come up. And every single one of the photos is a girl, pretty much nude.
In the J-banger.
Yeah. I'll show you guys. See.
That's any name.
It's the algorithms.
Let's
Maybe we'll
go-
go with Dolores because you're going to get
Yeah,
some,
yeah.
Granny, some granny from Campbelltown or something.
I've gone blank. What's a
Just go Rebecca
Taylor.
or
Rebecca.
Rachel.
Margaret.
Whatever.
To Margaret.
Margaret. You're going to get the librarian from down the road.
So I type in Rebecca.
Oh, here we go.
Show everyone
I
watching.
get some good ones.
Rebecca, huh? What about Crystal?
Just get straight. That one's not too bad.
Yeah, pretty much all girls.
All girls that are just.
Nice girls as well.
So think of, because that's what happened. I was searching up like something, and then I didn't press on the account. I just pressed entered, and all these OnlyFans models came up, like on the photos and all of this, and I was like, wow. And then I told my missus to do it on her phone, and the same thing popped up, and I was like, so imagine young boys that have Instagram that are 11 years old, 12 years old, and they start typing in these names. They don't even need to go on porn.
It's in their face the whole time, yeah.
And how do you expect kids to survive when it's like we said about the other community? If it's always in your face, how do you expect kids to like not think like this?
Absolutely, it makes a difference, man.
And then you wonder why, you know, they say that there's a problem with young men when it comes to you know, the way they treat women, and they always look at them as objects and all of this. Like, what do you expect when you've got this stuff in their face?
Well, the Prime Minister came out publicly and was almost shaming men in Australia.
That's the new thing now, but you know,
It's always it's man's fault. You know what I mean?
And what have they done now with this whole domestic violence?
Yeah.
You know, now they've incentivized women to come forward against their partner, which, don't get me wrong, like, there's nothing more, I don't think there's anything more putrid than hitting
There's
a female.
no place for domestic violence, obviously.
I
You're
agree. Men should not hit women, period.
Period, yeah.
But
You're
if a girl,
putrid
but
if you do.
But if a girl slaps me or if a girl throws a punch at me, you can very well guarantee yourself that I'm going to hit her.
If she wants to act like a man.
I agree. If she wants to act like a man, put her hands on a man, because women are supposed to be like these precious little things who aren't supposed to swear and who aren't supposed to throw punches and whatnot. But if it comes down to it, and they want to be included, because that's what inclusion is.
That's the thing now that baffles me, is we focus so much on domestic violence towards women, yeah? It happens both ways. There's a lot of men that get hit by women.
They're just quiet about it.
And they're quiet about it. But what I don't understand is, so like I said, you're putrid if you hit a female. But when a government incentivizes you to come forward against your partner, so right now they've released, I forgot how many millions of dollars into domestic violence packages for women. So any woman that comes forward against their partner, they pay them $5,000. The $5,000 isn't the problem if you're allocating it to the right cause. Why not allocate $5,000 to getting that female out of that situation, putting her rent free in her house for maybe 2 months, paying for her groceries for the next 2 months? Why are you giving females $5,000 up front? Because someone that I know is a teacher at a school, and the son of this lady, they were having trouble with the son, and the person that I know that works at the school said to the mum, now you've lost your job, how are you going to survive? And she said, I might just claim a DV against one of my ex-partners.
Oh, shit. They're hustling.
Yeah, just like
The
that,
hustle of the
bro.
money.
You know what I mean?
As if it's nothing, but...
And it's not just that. Like, it has to be like this person. You have to file a report, and these people get arrested. So so the teacher that I know said, so who are you going to do it against? I don't know, one of my ex-partners. I'll find one.
Oh, God, that's disgusting.
Because she wants the $5,000.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everyone's going to be like that. There's people, like, I know people that are in very bad situations when it comes to domestic violence. But don't you think there's a better way to allocate that money than giving it $5,000 in cash?
Of course. How about we find some therapists or counsellors to go out to any couples who have experienced domestic violence in the last 6 months or the last year or whatever it may be.
Figure it out.
And go out once a week, have a chat to them, see how things are going. Keep tabs on the
regular
family.
checkups on the even by police.
Yeah.
Keep tabs on them. Make sure nothing is going sour in the house.
If it's that bad, you move them out. You pay for their rent for the next 2 months. Pay for their groceries. You know, I think that's a better way to allocate the money.
Better idea than giving them straight 5K.
Statistically, I think it's better. It's more beneficial for the family to stay together, especially if there's kids involved.
Yeah, look, I understand that, but I also understand there are situations where the abusive partner is too much.
Oh, of course.
And I agree with moving them out 100%. But then again, you have people that will listen to this and all they'll take from it, because it's happened. Some guy spoke about this issue and he said the exact same thing I'm saying: allocate the money better. And in the comments, you don't care about domestic violence victims, you don't care because they're women. No, I care more because they're women, and I'm telling you, use the money in a better way. Like, you're allocating $5,000 to these people. Half these partners are probably saying, "Yeah, go claim the money and then come back to me."
Those people that are saying that, they got something like screws loose and stuff like that, because they only hear what they want to hear.
It's tunnel vision. It's okay. You've mentioned that you don't like domestic violence victims getting $5,000, so you don't care. That's all they hear. Anything else that you say, you know how we said allocate the money in a better way. I just gave you a whole way of allocating the money. They'll disregard all of that and they'll just say, no, he doesn't want domestic violence victims to get money.
Yeah.
That's
And
all they'll hear.
if they don't like you as a person, it's game over for you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of
It's just
course.
anything. You could say the most logical and reasonable argument and give the best advice, and you'd still be
It'll get-
called a heretic.
It'll get turned into like a short clip on TikTok
Yeah,
about you.
yeah.
you
That's what they
talking
did to
about-
Tate.
Yeah.
That's what they did to Tate. Everything they said, they put it under the microscope and twisted it.
The best one with him is the one where he says, if a female comes at me with a knife, like he says something like, "I'll smack her, get the knife on her, and
Get the
like
machete
get
or
the
something,
machete
yeah.
off her, like smack her with it." And they took all of that out, and they
Context
just said,
gone.
So and then he spoke about it. He's like, "You literally asked me what I would do if a female came at me with the sword,
Yeah.
with the knife." But they take that out, and you just hear, "Go at the female,
Yeah.
whack her with this and that," and that's everyone, and it's like misogynist.
It's so deceptive and disgusting, man. You could literally kill anyone using those kinds of tactics.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you could see it. It's just so evident these days with the TikTok attention span and all that shit.
And Tate did it. That lady that came and interviewed him in his
BBC
house,
from BBC.
and he said, "I can make you look bad," and they ended up doing it. They ended up taking parts of what she said, and it sounded like that she was actually on Tate's side, and that's what I mean. Like, you can take things.
Lucy was her name from the BBC.
Yeah,
I remember.
yeah.
That was
He
a
ruled
legendary
her.
interview.
I haven't seen him lose an interview, to be honest.
No, he's so good.
He's like 50 from he's like Mayweather.
So we were talking before, boys, about government incentivizing women making claims about domestic violence, like on their husbands or anything like that. Like that, for me, is another way for the government to break up families, because I feel like these days they know that families are weak when husband and wife are split, and when one of the parents are raising the kids by themselves. There's like ridiculous stats about the way that the kids turn out from single parent homes rather than two parent homes.
Fatherless children, especially.
Easy to
Yeah.
manipulate.
And I feel like it's another avenue. Like, I was looking before, and 44% of marriages in Australia end in divorce. So like, between us three, statistically, at least one of us is going to get a divorce at some time in our lives.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Like, to think that, yeah, but then you also look at why the divorce rate is so high. Like, you know what I mean? Women technically can take more than half your shit if they've been married to you for a certain amount of time. And I feel like it's an easy way to opt out, especially if things aren't going so smoothly. So people have like the wrong idea. They think that marriage is supposed to be like a walk in the park and things are supposed to get easier as life goes on. Like, things don't get easier. I don't think since from the time that we leave school that things get easier. I think that things get like immensely harder.
Absolutely.
With work, career, fucking buying a pack of strawberries from Woolies these days is like $12. Obviously we're gonna have struggles, you know what I mean? Buying bread, groceries. You've all gone grocery shopping in the last year. You can't buy jack shit for $100.
Yeah, it's
Those days are gone.
Yeah, it's like 8 items.
Like, to take away the father figure from the kids and the family is the easiest way to break up a home, or the easiest way to allow for problems to enter the family home. You know what I mean? And it starts through, honestly, I think that that's what the lead cause of feminism is, and I think that's why feminism is pushed so much, and it's to phase out the male role in kids' lives. I think it's allowing women to believe that they can play both the male and female role. And don't get me wrong, there's some mums out there who are unbelievable, who do play both roles and who like struggle day in, day out. But I don't think that it should be an option or should be like a viable option for women to be that Beyonce, strong, independent woman who don't need no man, which is what I fucking hear from so many girls these days who think that they can live their life independently. And I'm a guy and I can't live independent. I need a woman at the end of the day. At the end of the day, God created man for woman and woman for man. Like he created a woman out of the man's rib. And that's how it came about, you know what I mean? We're in sync. We're supposed to be together as one.
Adam and Eve.
I agree. Adam and Eve.
Not Adam and Steve.
That's a,
I was waiting for someone to say
that's
it.
a modern day remix.
I agree, man. This whole thing about strong, independent woman, you know, like women out there need to realize that you've got a time limit with certain things, you know, like I don't think many people realize, like, you know, women can only really reproduce until
They start
40.
they start having problems after 35.
Yeah.
35 is
40
like,
you're
is,
like-
is giving them they're on a biological clock. They
Yeah.
are.
And the problem is, and I always say this story because my mum always tells me it. She goes, we used to own a restaurant, like my father and my mum, and like, so my mum pretty much raised 4 boys all under the age of 8, and my dad ran the restaurant, so it was literally my mum. And she was at the restaurant once, and she used to be the waitress, so we were all in the back, like obviously running amok, you can imagine. So she's going back and forth, and she was saying how like this lady used to always come into the restaurant, and she was very high up at one of the big 4 banks. She was on very good money, and my mum used to say, I used to like envy this lady. Like she was just like, she just used to look like she had it all, you know, had her life together. And then there was me, like, you know, food in my hair from the kids, you know, running like a headless chook up and down, like making sure everyone in the back's okay while I'm serving. And then she was in there once, and she, like, my mum went to the table and she said to my mum, like, you don't understand how much I envy you in your life. And my mum couldn't believe it, because she goes, I worked so hard to get to the point of this job, and now I'm too old to have kids. Mm-hmm. And I look at you, and my mum couldn't believe it, because she goes, she used to always come in and I used to envy her. I used to think like she had it all together and I was the one that, you know, was struggling with the 4 boys and the restaurant, like food in my hair, and I thought she had it all, and she's sitting there saying that she envies me. And I always say that story to people because I think that's the thing. Like, this lady growing up would have thought, you know, I'm going to focus on my career, you know, because my career is going to be the main, you know, thing in my life. And then you get to an age where you realize it's not enough. Like, your job can get rid of you like that. We saw that during the play.
Everyone's replaceable.
You know, you're literally a number. I die tomorrow, someone's taking my role on Monday. Like, and that's why I think women need to realize that there is going to come a time where you're going to want more than just your job. And I think that satisfaction comes from family, you know, and having your own children. And
Of course, but since the dawn of time, we've had roles, men and women. Men have been better hunters and better providers, and women have been better nurturers and carers for kids. That's just how it's been since caveman times. I know we've evolved far from then, but at the end of the day, we're just better at what we do. It's just plain and simple.
The push that I see now is they're trying to make women into men, and they're trying to turn men into women.
They are.
That's the current trend that I'm seeing.
literally now it's like men are looked down on now. Like they're pushing this agenda.
Bro,
where-
man's life is tough, man. Like, honestly, it's quite difficult. You need to, in this day and age especially, make enough for yourself and for your future family. There's a good chance that you're going to be working until like you're 60 these days. That's like best case, or not best case scenario, but I think that's like the average male these days and what they're looking at. If they want to get married, have kids, do that whole jazz, I think that's what you're...
Yeah, it's just I feel like they pick and choose when females kind of when their roles matter, when they don't. And what I mean by that is, you know, everyone knows men shouldn't hit women, you know, and that's very well known. And you know, the Prime Minister spoke about it when it came to domestic violence, you know. But then when it comes to certain things, it's but women are the exact same as men. They can do exactly what men can do. You know, so why isn't it that we promote as much as women shouldn't be hitting men? If we're both equal, why are we choosing when we're equal and when we're not? You know, that's what baffles me a bit.
The cherry picking.
The cherry picking. And it happens a lot with a lot of things. Back to that whole plague thing, my body, my choice, but when you believe it's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you remember those people that were going to all the rallies and interviewing people and they're like, oh yeah, so you think my body, my choice? They're like, yeah. Oh, what about the Ab-J?
Oh, but that's different.
No, that's different. That's
different.
saving lives.
It's always different.
You know? Like,
it's always something,
you know? If you're going to stick by something, I just want you to stick by it fully. Like, that's all I ask. Like,
Absolutely.
don't pick and choose. Don't cherry pick because one health professional is telling you something and you just automatically believe it.
The hypocrisy is off the scale.
With everything in this world now is just, they pick and choose. Like, you know, we don't have... They're saying now it's a man problem, the domestic violence, you know? You know, men need to control themselves. You know, like...
But honestly, like, I can agree with that, man. I think just last week, another footy player got done for assaulting his missus. I think maybe Taylor May. I could...
It was.
It was.
Did he come out and apologise to the community?
No, but it's not the first time that one of these footy players have assaulted their missus, man. I'm talking, these are big boys, bro. These guys are running at men like week in, week out, and these guys, like, they take a beating every single game. I don't know if it's maybe a chemical imbalance in the brain or the
from
psychology
all the tackles,
yeah, from all the tackles, honestly. But it's not the first time a footy player's been in hot water for hitting their partner.
Seems like every month it's a new one.
There's been about 3 this month.
Oh shit, there you go.
Yeah. There's been a drug scandal. There's been like another rape scandal or something like that.
Which I agree with fully. Like, there needs to be a stop to this stuff. But going back to the issue, incentivizing people with money is not the way to go about it, in my eyes.
100%. So like, we've identified a few problems. We've also given a few solutions. My biggest problem that I have now is that if we can come up with solutions, these guys are getting paid.
Funded.
It's their job.
I said this last week. I said, we can come up with this in a matter of... I literally thought of it. I literally said, you know what? Instead of doing $5,000, why not do 2 months free rent, this, that. So there's a whole team that came together getting paid really good money, and their solution to tackle this problem was giving $5,000 to each victim. That was their solution. They had a whole group of people working on this, but we've sat here and came up with, in my eyes, better solutions, which I don't think anyone would complain.
It's their job. It's their job as well to come up with these solutions. Can't someone sit here and pay me an X amount of figure salary to come up with solutions for modern day problems?
And you know what?
I'll do the job in one day.
Like, we know when it comes to governments and that, like, they can be corrupt. They want to help their friends out. They could even do this to help their friends out. They could give the $5,000. They could give you $2,000 voucher to Woolworths. You know, the big companies. They could give you, all right, you're going to be staying in this building rent free because we're going to pay your rent to this big developer. So they can even do it to, in a corrupt way and help people.
Of course, or we're going to give you a therapist who's going to prescribe you all this medication week in, week out.
You know,
and
so
you got to take them or you're not getting your money.
You guys should be listening to us. You know, so, like, I don't know. But then again...
We've spoken about, like, incentivizing women, etc., etc.
Yeah.
All right. Why are women feeling like it's okay to go and give their husband a fucking cuff if something goes sideways? Like, I feel like men are also not what they used to be.
That's another thing that baffles me. Do you know when you see all those videos where, like, a girl would be hitting the shit out of a guy and then he'd just have enough and hit her back? Hey, you can't hit a girl. Like,
What planet are you from
What gives
where
the
there's-
female or,
yeah.
like the okay to? Then they sit there and say, yeah, but men are stronger. Okay, men are stronger now, but when we talk about playing sports together, that's okay. They're not stronger there. It's only when a man wants to hit a female, that's when they're stronger. And I agree, men are stronger, and men shouldn't hit females. But it then comes back to females should also know not to hit a male.
Yeah. It's,
No one should hit anyone.
it's such a backwards world. I honestly think there might be something in the background that's just, it wants as much chaos as possible, and they want to pin everyone against each other. Males against females.
Because when you
gays
do that,
against straights.
when you do that, you think
The
that
devil, my friend.
Yeah, because when you do that, you're not focusing on the big issues that
Exactly.
are actually occurring in the world.
Even
So you got
Christians,
these
Muslims, every single thing, they're trying to pin everyone against each other.
divide and conquer.
And
That's what
in
it
the
is.
backgrounds, they're getting away with stealing and the corruption and all that sort of stuff. And the plebs here are arguing over this little
Look at
shit.
us, like, you know, like these things about AstraZeneca. You see people in the comments, they're just arguing with each other, arguing. Yet no one's held accountable at AstraZeneca.
No
We're just
one.
fighting with ourselves.
Yeah.
These are the elites sitting here saying, all right, you know what? We need to push this through behind the scenes. What can we do? Like, you know, with the whole...
Digital ID bill that went through.
How many things happened during the whole Johnny Depp court case? That everyone was
Oh,
sitting there
yeah,
talking
that was a
about?
big distraction.
Big
so they got so
distractions.
much shit through the Senate and
That's
all
what I
that.
mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everyone's focusing on this issue here. What's happening behind the scenes?
Or fucking, are you Team Kendrick or Team Drake?
Oh, that burns me. I haven't even looked into that because I'm just like, if anyone actually believes that stuff's real, they're actually beefing with each other.
It's so low frequency nonsense drama.
Because I
like-
look at all these artists, none of them can release anything without being told they're allowed to. Like, people think, oh, Drake just releases what he wants. He doesn't give a fuck. He just puts it on anyone. You don't understand. These people are owned. They're owned by people. They don't have a say.
A lot of them have sold their souls.
So all these people, they get told what to wear. You think these people, these rappers that wear dresses.
The dresses, yeah.
Do you think they choose to, even the NBA players when they're walking in and they're wearing dresses, you think that they actually went to their wardrobe and said, you know what, I feel like wearing a dress today?
But you know what burns me, bro? These guys are supposed to be fucking gangsters, bro. I feel like I'm more of a gangster than some of these cunts.
Yeah, well,
You
that's
probably are.
Like, no offense, yeah, no
No,
offense.
but
But
see,
some
that's-
of these guys, man, that I see like out, being told what to say, how to act, how to move.
Well, Drake has coloured nails, yeah?
So did Reece Walsh.
Yeah, Reece Walsh and Ezra Mam.
And Ezra Mam. I swear,
And Ponga.
man.
And these
Yeah.
are the. And do you think it's just by accident that people like Reece Walsh, who's a very good-looking guy, you know, and all the young girls love him?
What is it? They're painting their nails?
They're footy players painting their nails.
What colour?
Colourful colours.
Oh
I
my
saw
God.
Kalen Ponga, bro, and you know how on this finger sometimes the girls they have like all
The
red and
different
they have
one,
this
yeah.
one yellow or blue or whatever it is. You know?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a girl thing, whatever. So Ponga had them all painted one color, and then this one was spotted.
No, he had a different one on that one.
It was spotted, bro, and I'm looking and I'm
Come
like,
on.
And it just so happens that like 3 NRL players that are young, that are very well known, very popular, especially Reece Walsh, very
Always in the
popular
media.
with ladies.
yeah, always in the
You
media.
know, so what are these young boys? Because then I've seen videos where people are like, oh my god, like girls are like, oh my god, bae, and he'll be showing his like nails, yeah? So young boys are going to see this and be like, well, Reece Walsh is getting girls by painting his nails. Maybe I should, you know?
It all falls in the trend of
just-
they're turning the men into girls.
It just so happens that the most popular NRL players are painting their nails. The most popular NBA players are wearing dresses. Drake paints his nails and wears dresses and puts beads and stuff in his hair. And then he's considered a gangster. So all these people in America are going to be like, all right, so for me to be considered hard and a gangster, maybe it's all right if I paint my nails.
Tupac
No,
is turning over in his grave right now.
yeah.
in no world is that gangster,
No,
man.
no,
But
no.
you see, like some of this stuff happening, man, and it quite. So I have to take a deep breath sometimes and see like what these guys are doing, man. And I know that they might have their best interest at heart with a lot of these superstars, because that's what happens, right? See, they might be doing it for inclusion, but there's a fine line between inclusion and promoting something that is eventually going to do more harm than good.
Yeah.
Any teenage boy that goes and paints his nails in school is going to get picked on, regardless.
Especially 15 years ago when we were in school.
Oh yeah.
Regardless,
bashed.
I will personally pick that person out and make sure that I'll give that person hell. if they were in my class. No, this is me being serious as well. If a guy had painted nails in your year, you're not going to give him shit.
That's cool.
I mean, we're all changed now. No, do you know what, bro? If I
We're
saw
more
a guy with
inclusive.
painted nails these days, bro, I swear I'd still give him shit, bro. I don't care.
What would you say to him, hey, bro? What's up with the nails? Why is that one different than the other ones?
Worker at Bunnings in Pasto, bro. He's got painted nails.
He's probably watching this.
When he's the one getting the wood for us and stuff.
Yeah, he's the one.
What section's he in?
The lifestyles,
Plants?
bro. He's in. Yeah, he's a horticulturalist.
Right, he's one of those people that he identifies in all areas there. But yeah, so back to the thing, like, you know, the best NBA players, you know, have worn dresses. You know, like, you think that's a coincidence?
Who's worn a dress in the NBA?
James Harden, he's worn a dress. I'm even pretty sure. I'm pretty sure LeBron. I didn't want to say it yet.
I think I might have seen LeBron in the dress once.
I'm pretty sure it was like a pink dress as well, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Wait, look.
Oh yeah. It's got to be pink dress. He's got to have pink shoes to go with it as well. That's LeBron James, guys.
And then there's one
I
more.
always have arguments with people about LeBron James being this, and some guy's gonna come and be like, bro, he's such a good
devil
NBA
worshipper.
player. Who gives a shit? He can wear whatever the fuck he wants.
He's a devil worshipper.
He is.
Yeah, there's
100%.
some
He
shit
killed
going
Kobe.
on
He
there.
killed Kobe.
Allegedly.
He was in on it.
Yeah, nah. But yeah, so you see someone like LeBron James, who we all consider, like, well, not, like society considers one of the best NBA players. Like, my little cousin loves him, you know, so my little cousin's 11 this year. So if he was to see him in a dress, I'm scared that maybe he might think, well, my idol's in a dress, it might not be that bad if I wear a dress now. You know, and that same little cousin actually has 3 or 4 people in his primary school that have changed genders.
Oh, wow.
In a primary school.
Primary school, guys.
And let me tell you about the one of the families, yeah? One of the families, the teachers had severe problems with the kid. Intellectual problems and stuff, and they kept saying, you need to see a psychologist, you need to go and get him help. They never wanted to. This guy had severe issues, you know? He started getting fixated one day and said that he wanted to be a girl, and the parents were all for it, and didn't want to go get help when it came to intellectual problems or anything like that, when, like, he wouldn't like take part in class or anything. They didn't want to see anyone from that, and then they automatically accepted him as a girl because he came out and said it without going and seeing anyone for a second opinion. They said, yeah, no worries, we'll buy you dresses, we'll do this. And the next day he changed his name, like not officially, I don't think, but put him in a dress, and that was it. Like, yeah, we just want what's best for him. But you didn't want what's best for him when it came to him, like, being told by the teachers to go seek help for your own child's well-being.
Yeah.
But when it came to him, just someone that was considered not even able to think properly for himself.
How old are we talking?
Year 3?
Year 3. So that's
Yeah.
8 years old. That brain is literally just developing.
It's mush.
Yeah, it's mush.
And then and you know what?
You can't even put like proper sentences together at that age.
And the problem with this is a lot of the times, I'm not saying all the times, but a lot of the times, it's the parents that go ahead with this to make them look like parents that care.
Well, they're the culprits.
They
The
are.
kids are gonna say outlandish shit, but why are the parents going into that, leaning into that, and accepting this stuff?
And I'm not saying, look, if this person is adamant for 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, that it wants to be a different gender, then you can start like looking into what's the problem in that. But like when your son says one thing, I want to be a girl, and the next day you start buying him dresses, you start doing this without seeking help when it came to his own intellectual problems, how is that okay? The teacher of this child is sitting there saying, your child is below his age in the brain, and developing a lot slower than other kids. You don't want to get him help when it comes to that, but you're happy just to change his gender straight away for a child that's developing still at a very low age. How is that okay?
For me, that's child abuse.
Big time.
Parents should go to jail, or parents should be investigated immediately. If a kid is changing genders overnight at 8 years old, you know what I mean? Can't go to school, can't fend for themselves, can't do anything properly at that age.
Nothing.
And like I said,
Parents need to be held accountable for kids who are, you said 3 kids in a primary school?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 changing genders in a primary school. The world is changing very, very quickly because I don't have one in my school.
I think when we were younger, I think there would have been maybe one in the whole system.
Yeah.
And then that person would have got help to try and figure out the issue and try and resolve the issue. You don't go, like I said, if I was 8 years old back then and I was pretty well developed for my age, and someone if I kept seeing these things, I can be whatever I want, I can be, and then someone put that into my mind, maybe I would have got fixated at the age of 8. And we're talking about a kid that already was below his development age. His brain was developing like a kindergarten or year 1 or something.
I agree, but like we'll never... See, the thing is, when we were younger, it was never an option.
Yeah.
It was never logical to do something like that. If someone even uttered those words or spoke about something like that, you'd be like, what the hell? That's like not real. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. How can I be a girl? Or how can a girl be a boy?
And you know what?
It's just...
Going back to the guilt trip, yeah? So in America, I saw a video where someone did the surgery and regretted it. And he told the story about how the parents were against it. They didn't want it to happen. And then, you know what the doctor said to them? You can either have a dead son or a daughter that's alive.
I think that was
and that's
from...
what they started.
What is a Woman, yeah? That show from Matt Walsh.
No, it was in that, but
Yeah.
this was another story as well.
Yeah.
I never watched that, but I've seen clips of that.
I watched that. That was quite interesting. Sorry, just to see like he was talking to like
Africans as well. Like he went.
no, he was talking to like proper professors who have like double degrees, talking about gender studies and stuff like that, who couldn't define what a woman is.
They wouldn't
People that have been
answer.
to uni for 8 years.
Well,
and that's their specialty.
there's a degree now in gender studies.
Yeah, that's what the guy had. The guy had gender studies, and he's asking him. He goes, "What is a woman?" And then the guy goes, "Someone who identifies as a woman." And he goes, "You know what a circular definition is, right?" And he goes, "When you use the same word in what you're defining," he goes,
Yeah, you can't do that.
he goes, "Describe what a woman is without using the word woman." And he goes, just sits there, looks sort of blank. Guys had 8 years study, by the way, about gender studies, and that's one of the genders.
It's like saying what a dog is. Yeah, a dog is a dog. You know, like you're not answering the
Careful,
question.
someone might be offended.
Yeah.
Careful.
You know what I mean? But
Sorry to all the dogs out there.
But yeah, and then there was another one that I watched where it was a female that changed to, or tried to change to a male because you can't actually change. And she said that I probably have less than 10 years to live because of the hormonal medication that she was taking.
They start to cause cancer. They start to affect organs in your system as well, and they don't start functioning as well, because what happens is once you start taking these tablets, you got to take liver guard, you got to take all this other stuff as well to make sure that your system isn't failing. So once your system is compromised in one department, it starts failing in other departments, bro. It starts like letting you down, and all these surgeries are all very expensive. I think from start to finish, a full transition, I think
$1 million.
yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
It's close to $1 million or somewhere around the million
And
mark.
who gets that mil? That's the question.
All these surgeons,
And you know what's funny?
all these doctors.
Why is it so? Gender reassigning surgery is now part of the whole care that they have in America.
Gender affirming care, I think. They
Yeah.
call it over there.
So a lot of it's paid for. You know, so tax money's paying for it.
Oh yeah.
So why is it that if a girl wakes up and says, you know what, I should have been born with double D breasts. I should be able to get breasts, double D, and that should be paid by the care. Why is that not allowed? Why
Well,
are
she's
we...
not changing her gender. She's enhancing existing. I'll get your point. I know what you're saying, but it's such bullshit, bro. Our whole system is fucked.
Everything.
And you know, in America...
I actually think that if you're under 18 and you want to transition, unless you have the consent of both your parents, not one, because mum might be for it, dad might be against it, and that might start dramas. Unless you have consent from both parents, if you only live with a singular parent, then I understand that that might be enough. Under 16 should be prohibited. After 16,
I don't think it's enough, bro. Personally,
what 16 for me, it should be a no-go completely.
Yeah,
but when I
of
see
course.
8-year-olds doing it and
No,
parents
I
encouraging,
think if you're gonna do it, you should be doing that in your proper adult life. So I think
agreed.
21 will have to be the bare minimum, where you've seen the real world, because you know when you're in high school even, you don't see the real world.
No.
You're not. You see a lot of kids doing dumb shit.
We're in a bubble.
Yeah, like you don't realize what is out there. You think the world revolves around you. You know? So, like, and a lot of these kids, growing up, and they say, like this kid that I was telling you about that goes to my cousin's school, he'd be getting a lot of attention from the teachers, and everyone would be like, congratulations, like you're brave and that. So, once you get out of school, no one cares about you. You're not going to have that attention, So I think you need to experience the real world before you start making life-altering decisions. If you hit 21 and you've been thinking about it since 10, I'm not saying it's right. I don't think, I'm with you, Zachy. I don't think anyone should be doing this surgery. But I think at 21, you have now earned the right to be responsible for your own decisions.
If it was up to me, Joseph, I wouldn't have it at all.
No, of course.
Zero
Yeah.
gender affirming this, zero gender
Never.
affirming this. If you don't like it, tough titties.
Yeah.
Fucking good luck in your next life. Maybe you'll be born in a different gender. That's having it my way. But I understand when they say that their body hasn't properly developed yet. So they haven't... the puberty blockers actually stops their growth.
Yeah.
So for these girls or guys who want to turn into girls, they end up being fucking 7 foot tall and they end up hating their lives because they're just giants.
And you don't stop growing until you're 25.
Yeah, but
So-
like other than that, man, instead of being a girl, why don't you be a fucking basketball player or an athlete? You got that height on you.
Because it's too hard. It's a lot of work that goes into that.
The brain doesn't even fully develop until you're like 24, 25.
Yeah, sorry, bro. Someone straight out should be needs to be held accountable, especially parents, for these kids and how they're turning out. But these kids are gonna end up fighting wars one day. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it, or if they're gonna. I'd love to know what the listings are for Army, Navy, and stuff like that as the future has gone in like the last 20 years
have
to now.
trans people in it now in America.
Imagine getting like, beaten up by a trans.
Imagine you're in a front line, and a trans is the one that kills you. Be dirty, bro. But I remember I was listening to a podcast with Patrick Bet-David, and he was saying that he took, I don't know if it was him or someone that was on his podcast, someone in that podcast took their son or daughter to a orientation day at the college that they were going to go to. And the first thing they said was, like, our college prides ourselves on inclusion, blah, blah, blah. We have our own gender reassignment surgery clinic for students that feel the need to change their gender.
At the uni.
Yeah.
What a talking point, huh? Come here, we got all this stuff that can fuck you up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And people, like kids especially, like they're generally curious. You know what I mean? And kids, they believe anything. Like my nephew is 7 years old and he thinks that my car used to be the Batmobile. You know what I mean? He thinks Batman used to drive my car. But like it's funny because he's a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What
If
was
he's
it?
like... Yeah, my Corolla. I drive like a silver Corolla, by the way.
Yeah.
He's
Not
like,
even close.
he's like, where's all the weapons and stuff like that? I told him it's in my room. He goes, oh, he's like, all right. I go, but you can't tell anyone. He goes, okay. 7 years old, in year 2.
Yeah.
Believes that Batman used to be the owner and operator of my car.
So imagine you had him in your car, and then you start saying, "Oh, like, so I used to be Batman. You could be a girl if you want." And then imagine you just planted that seed.
But I'm saying, if the same kid is believing that my car used to drive Batman, like he's so susceptible to anything.
Yeah.
Like we should be protecting these kids and making sure that they are, 1, having fun, 2, working out, exercising, being sociable. I can almost put, you know what, I will put my life savings on it, that this kid in your cousin's school, who's 8 years old, who's transitioning or is getting that kind of approval from his parents, is not enrolled in sports, is not social amongst his classmates, does not have much of a social life or a good relationship with his parents or siblings at home. I guarantee you that if he was put in sport, team efforts, all this stuff like that, then he would start to find purpose. Obviously, this kid is crying out for attention, and saying that he's a girl is the only way that this kid has found to get attention, because at that age, all you want is attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All you want is someone who gives a shit about you, to look at what you're doing in life, your accomplishments, day in, day out. And obviously, he's found his avenue through this.
Yeah, look. Like, I can't see why it's so hard for people to understand. Like, before a certain age, your brains aren't developed. Like, just let kids be kids. Let them figure it out themselves. We don't need to push this stuff onto them. You know? Even the way I thought of life at 18, I'm 26 now. In 8 years, the amount I've learned and the amount my views have changed on the world. Like, that's in 8 years after being an adult. We're talking kids as young as 8, just transitioning. So what happens when they get to that age and they decide they don't want to be that, and it's too late to turn back? And people are saying, well, or they can just stop the medication if they don't get the full surgery. It's not just that. Like, if you're taking these medications, like you said, these liver functioning, all of this, there's a whole heap.
Of course.
You know, that amount of medication, no matter what you're taking, is not good for you.
Bro, if I eat fish every day, it's not good for me.
Yeah.
Mercury poison.
Yeah.
If I eat chicken every day, if I eat Doritos every single day, like a packet of Doritos, obviously it's going to do some form of damage. Imagine taking like body-altering medication. Obviously, it's going to mess with you over the course of time.
But then the scary thing as well is it happened with the plague as well. Parents are losing their authority over their kids. In America, you know how many kids have transitioned behind their parents' back?
Yeah.
Canada's
Canada's even worse.
bad.
Bro, did you know a
Guy went to jail.
Yeah, guy went into jail.
For
You know what he went
refusing
for? To call his daughter like by the pronoun that she wanted, which was him. Him.
Yeah.
He refused it. He was locked up, and the judge said, "This is as bad as getting a wooden spoon and hitting your kid with it."
Oh my god.
You know, I think that's the problem, Joseph. Not many kids these days are getting the wooden spoon. The wooden spoon. Oh,
I had this convo today with my missus. We were talking about it. We were just saying, like, when we're, like, you know, just in shopping centres, and I've seen kids grab chocolate, and the parents have been like, no, you can't have it. They'll start screaming. They'll actually start hitting the parent until the parent says, okay, I'll grab it for you. Just stop. The kids are running the show right now.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I don't know, like, the old school ways, I feel like the way we were brought up, we've got so much more respect than kids nowadays.
Yeah, no, the respect's gone down for sure with this new generation. They can get away with murder.
And back to the topic about the teachers, even during COVID, they hired in Melbourne, they hired health professionals that were nurses, yeah, and they would determine whether the child was mature enough to make their own decision to get the ABJ. So even if the parents refused, no, you're not, and they weren't even telling the parents when it was happening at the school. So how is that okay? Like, that school is the one place that you leave your kids and you're supposed to know that they're safe at.
Yeah. And now they're not even safe there
because the forces are against them now. Not only is it with stuff like that, but you got to worry what the teacher's teaching them. You got to worry about what books they're reading in the library. Because have you seen some of the books they're selling at Big W and stuff like that?
No.
Man, they've got some ones where they're literally cartoons showing, like, say, 2 boys giving oral sex to each other.
What?
Yeah.
in the kids section.
In the kids section.
I don't know if you'll be able to show it on there, but I'll show you. In the kids section,
there's a word for that. It's called grooming.
Yes.
They're grooming the children so that they're more susceptible to accept these ideas.
I can hear
This is
Primo.
the prime mod, isn't it?
Yeah, I can hear his voice.
Oh my god. Oh wow, it actually has for people who are not
Different.
watching,
Look
like,
at that scissoring.
it's penises and actual naked cartoon girls. They're talking
Having
about
sex.
anal sex and fingering.
How do you finger someone? Again, complete with illustrations.
Oh my god, hand jobs,
Look at
oral
that,
sex.
Oral sex. They're literally in the position of giving oral sex to each other in a cartoon form.
That's disgusting.
This
This was
is
at
in-
Big W.
This is at Big W.
What's it recommended for? How old? I heard 11 years old.
That's fucked up, man.
And it's not-
How is that even allowed?
And it's not like a book for adults that is being sold at Big W. It's literally a book for children. Look at the front covers. It's got a strawberry with eyes on it smiling to
Yeah,
attract.
it's very welcoming.
Yeah, very welcoming for a young person. And this is what we're selling at Big W. But if we stand up and we say, no, this is not okay, people sit there and say, you got to get with the times. You know, they're just trying to make kids comfortable.
Inclusion.
No, this is grooming. This is grooming, and it's going to lead to people like, you know, like that become fixated with sex. And when you're fixated with sex and you can't get it, what do you end up doing a lot of the time?
Going fucking stabbing people in a shopping center.
Yeah, or you end up hating women because, like that guy that went and stabbed people at Bondi and he just targeted women. You become rapists. Yeah, or you just become a degenerate because all you're doing all day is watching pornography.
Yeah.
And that, like, it's not healthy for the mind.
Or you end up being a fucking pedo, bro, which is actually ridiculously quite common these days. From shit that I've seen on Instagram lately.
Do you mean minor
Minor attractive
Yeah.
person is the correct term you should
Minor
be using, you
attractive
bigot.
person.
Yeah.
And for the government and police and our states and laws to protect these people from us not saying their names, from them getting protected inside prison, honestly, like, we are taught to forgive and we're taught to be peaceful, you know, by God and by the Bible and religion that we follow. But I think that if someone was to start hanging these pedos, no one would bat an eye, no one would say anything.
Except if you are one.
Yeah.
And did you see the law they passed in Germany? How they're lowering the...
Yeah, is allowed now?
I don't know if it's fully allowed or they're lowering the...
Consent age.
No, yeah, they're lowering that to 12. So the consent... We're talking 12 years old.
What, to have sex?
To have sex. But...
So what if I'm 30 years old and I want to go engage in sexual activity with a girl that's 12 in Germany and she consents?
I don't know how that works. I don't want to say anything that I don't know. I don't know if it's like, say, if you're under 18 and you're having sex with a 12-year-old, that's it. Because, like, you know, in Australia...
Yeah. If you're under 18 and she's above 16.
Yeah, then that's okay. But they're also lowering the penalty for being caught with child pornography.
Oh.
They're lowering it.
You know what baffles me the most, right? One thing that I can't seem to understand. So if I was to call up a drug dealer and be like, hey, can I pick up $50 worth of weed off you and I'm going to come get it from this house? There's a good chance that police are listening into the phone calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a good chance that they have enough like tech these days to look up that kind of stuff. How have they not tracked down all the people who are looking up child porn, one? And two, have gone out and engaged with kids? How have they not been able to narrow them down is beyond
Well, they
me.
did an app during the plague. Remember? They could tell exactly where someone contracted the virus from.
Was it the Plague Safe app?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could tell you that, but they can't tell you, pedos, and where they are and what they're watching.
Yeah.
They can't tell you any of that.
They're another protected species.
But if we mention the wrong word on this, it gets shut down and cancelled.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why we were saying AppJ and the Plague, because certain words trigger the YouTube algorithm, and so many of my videos have got deleted.
Yeah, so you just said so many videos of yours have got deleted. Yeah,
the heat is on.
Yet there is pedophiles that go years and years on end, not just even watching pornography, engaging, filming it with underage children.
So gross.
And we can't track them down.
No, they're another protected species.
They are.
So everything that's completely fucked up or wrong with the world is deemed a protected species by what I've considered, and this goes back to like the beginning of time. You know what I mean? We have good forces and we have bad forces, and it's just very unfortunate that the internet seems to be used in this kind of way. It can be used for good, but I feel like the bad forces, they're just in your face when you wake up, and they're in your face by the time that you go to sleep. It's
That's what I'm saying. It's very hard for kids nowadays to survive and grow up normally the way we did.
How do you be a kid and engage on social media and have like a normal life and not be exposed to these sorts of things? I think
pure shit.
I think it's almost impossible for a kid growing up not to be exposed to this sort of stuff just based off how we live. I guarantee every single high school kid knows about OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
If you were to do like a random poll with a high school and ask them if they knew about it, I reckon most of them would.
Imagine the
know.
bullying though. Imagine you were a kid in year 8 and your mum did OnlyFans in her past, right?
Bro, when we had
Imagine-
a kid, when you had a kid at your school that just had a hot mum.
Yeah,
Yeah, they copped it.
Even if she was the nicest lady, like dressed appropriately, you'd give it to her.
Oh, 100%, bro.
We're talking
Hey, bro,
now.
your mum, she's fucking cracker, bro.
We're talking now. You got mums out there that have kids in school that are like there was a news report, and she's like, and it's about an OnlyFans model whose kid gets bullied at school, and like pretty much she didn't know why. Like, come on, man.
I wonder why, bro. No,
Are you telling me they're not going past with their phones saying, "Hey, look at your mum"?
Yeah,
look at
hey,
your
I
mum."
paid $5 for your mum's
Like,
pussy,
fuck,
look.
man. Like,
That's
think
so
of-
bad.
I think of the repercussions on that, man.
Nah, she don't give a
Yeah,
fuck, bro.
big
She
time.
wants to drive a nice, what
Range Rover?
Nice Range Rover. Wants to
Yeah.
have fresh nails.
Yeah, go to
You know,
the petty, mani,
They just think of
fucking
themselves, man.
eyebrows.
They don't think of... And see, the problem is, these women, as much as they want to believe it and live in this delusion, sooner or later, they're going to realise, because all these young girls, 20 years old,
Bro, she's gonna
making
get
a bit
old
of
and
money.
she's gonna get old
you
and
know?
wrinkly
Alright,
one day.
Good on you, make your money, you know? Sooner or later, you're not going to be this good-looking girl. You're going to want to settle down.
There's always an expiration date. Yep.
You know, you're going to want to settle down, and the quality of man that you're going to settle with is not going to be that good, because no quality man would accept that.
No high value man wants some woman
Used
like
girl
that.
who's
There's
got
no way.
videos online of literally getting
Yeah.
pounded by multiple guys at once.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's no guy wants that.
No.
And if you want it, like, you're not a quality man.
You're
If
probably
not
a
high value.
simple cuck.
Yeah,
Or both.
you're just happy that you found someone who's decent looking,
Yeah.
and you like. I don't care what anyone says. No man, no high value man
Yeah.
wants that.
All right. In saying that, boys, society's fucked.
Mm.
Men are being turned into females, and females want to be men. The financial system's fucked. The medical system's fucked. The judiciary system is fucked. And we have a major election coming at the end of this year. That's probably going to determine where the world goes, which direction we go, a fork in the road, as you will. Are we going to continue on this trajectory into debauchery and just insanity and chaos? Or is there going to be a certain someone that's going to turn the ship around that everyone says is the savior?
We can't mention his name, can we? I'm Trey.
I'm Trey, lad. I'm Trey.
Look, my take on that is the way the last 4 years have gone with a certain party is like was planned. You know, in my eyes, the election was rigged. I think we could agree on that. When you just look at the charts of, you know, certain 3 a.m., you just see a
Yeah,
spike of 100,000
Yeah.
votes. If Trey does win,
We've bought ourselves 4 years.
yeah, but I don't. That's one way of looking at it. I hope it's the right way, but I also think, is there a reason why he's in? You know, and
Yeah, that's I've been thinking
Well,
about
didn't the
that as
Simpsons
well.
predict that he got assassinated as president?
Bro, honestly, man, like I'm so over like not being able to control what is exposed to society.
Everything
that's
like
the biggest-
even Trey, like at the start he was promoting the Abjay as well.
Yeah, it
know?
was his idea.
I think
Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah, but see, in my eyes, I think you can't get to that certain level of power. Doesn't matter how many followers you have, to get to the president of the United States. You're not even the person running the country, really. You know, like Putin says it.
There's always
before,
people in black suits
that
show
rock up
yeah.
and the ones that deliver the real things. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't look at Trey as 100% as someone on our side. Unfortunately, like I don't know. I feel like, and it's unfortunate because he could be all for the people and that, but like we've had so many forces against us. Yeah, trauma.
Yeah.
You know, so many forces against us that you just don't know who to trust.
Yeah, it's
You know
kind
who
of
you
like
trust?
God,
That's right. You trust
Jesus
in God,
Christ,
Jesus
100%.
Christ. That's the...
they're the only people that, you know, at the end of the day, everyone's human. Like, you know, I don't know about Iden Bay. I reckon that's a clone, bro.
Oh my god, the skin
Going down
suits.
that?
The skin
Yeah,
suits,
yeah.
yeah.
The shapeshifter cuz.
Yeah, I don't know if that, and even what's her name?
Kamala.
Hillary.
Oh, Hillary.
Ah.
Hillary.
Hillary. Have you seen that video of her drinking like water and then like something comes out of it?
Nah.
I have to show you that.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
but I'm with you on that one. I'm not sure about Trump. He could be either or. He could be good or he could be bad. He could be, you know, the one that kind of like slides all of this stuff through the back door.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, he's got to be the better choice out of him and Biden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the lesser of the evil. I mean, they're two.
Undoubtedly, but one of them can articulate sentences, the other one can't.
Yeah, and shitting his pants on national television
Falling
as
down
well.
the
Have you seen
stairs.
him? He'll just walk, and then he'll stop, and then he'll clench his fists like this, and like, oh shit, he's
No, it's a
shitting his
joke.
pants again.
There's no way. I guarantee you, there's no way that amount of people voted for him. It doesn't matter how much you hate Trey. There's not that many people that voted for him.
I feel like the world's running amok on us.
They are, because they're making you, like we said before about the health ministers, and they're not even in shape.
Yeah, they purposely pick people
They're
who are out of
purposely
shape.
picking these people to dumb down society. This is what's happening.
It's like me leading like a feminism rally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing makes sense about it.
Nah.
So I think that's why like they just try to do that. But
But yeah, then you got men that lead the feminism rally as well. So
in America, for this election,
yeah.
you have people who will not accept it if Trey wins, and you have people who will definitely not accept it if Biden wins. And you know, I don't know what the percentage is now, but I think it was like a 30% chance that this all ends in like a civil war.
I think what is going to happen is that they're going to try and do something where you're not voting in person again.
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to do it, because that's what they did with 4 years ago.
could be
A plague,
a plague or a terror attack or something.
Something where they
you know.
maybe
Alien invasion?
no, maybe a terrorist comes and says, you know, we've put bombs in one of the voting polls areas, and we're not telling you which one.
Oh shit.
You know, what happens if someone does that, and then the government goes, look, for everyone's safety in America, we're just going to do this from home until we find this bomb.
Totally
Like,
possible.
you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined on the civil war. I feel like it's been coming for a few years now. I feel like the world's just been hanging on by a thread. Our financial system is completely fucked.
But this is what the elites want. Look what they did during the Black Lives Matter.
You have all these countries that are all in debt.
Yeah.
You have like,
Especially America.
yeah, like I feel like the next war, which is like what it says like in the Bible about like Revelations and stuff, you know what I mean? Like we could potentially be close to end times. Maybe not like the brink of like human extinction, but I'm talking about like a good third of the population being wiped out. That's like what it says in Revelations. Actually, it says that I think 2/3 of the Earth's population will be wiped out.
And I think about 2/3 of the population took the abjay,
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Like due to war, famine, because you got the four horsemen. You got one of them's war, famine. I don't know what the other two
Yeah,
are.
but they say
they're
that
supposed to
like
come and
the
rain
way war is nowadays is not how it used to be. It's not with
Yeah,
guns
no,
and
Or tanks or armies or anything like
war's
that. Yeah.
technical and medical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we're already at war, and like people don't realize.
Yeah.
You know, like this whole thing. No matter what you do now, you have a headache. All right, go take medication. Everything is, you know, medication. Like no natural remedies. You know, do you know in the UK, there's a Cancer Act. I'm gonna get the exact thing, and you know what this is? In the UK, Cancer Act 1958 is what it's called. You ready? So, this Cancer Act is, say one of us have cancer, God forbid, and we cure ourselves naturally. We cannot tell people how we did it, and we cannot promote it. It is a crime in the UK to promote the way you were cured by cancer naturally, because they use the excuse that people could listen to you and not get chemo and could die. So it is actually a crime in the UK to promote your natural remedies if you're cured naturally by cancer.
That's pretty fucked up.
It's been going since 1958.
Why wouldn't you try alternatives to chemotherapy? You know what I mean?
Because we listen to the health professionals and that's it. You there's no other
No
option.
question about it.
You know, this is the one way that makes money for the big pharma, and that's the only way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
these big reputational doctors, right? Like I've had debates with some of these guys before about the ABJ and about the sickness and how potent it could be and the damages it could cause to myself and families. Why did it get scrapped a month ago? Why did it be deemed dangerous to still get it? If you were to still get it now and it's not necessary anymore, what happened to it? I'd love to see that lady that I had an argument with.
well, I had an argument with someone that I know who's a very high up doctor during COVID, and she was telling me, because she replied to one of my stories because I put up a story about it, and this was early on, it was during lockdown. She's like, Joseph, you shouldn't be saying this stuff, you're not a medical professional. And I already knew back then what this was all happening, and not a peep from her now. You know?
Nothing?
No,
Doesn't say anything?
nothing about it.
Well, all the people that I know are still under the delusion that it was all done proper and that the medication was just and it still works and is safe and effective. There are still people, and most of them are in the medical establishment, that still believe that it was all done properly.
You know what the problem is? These people only learn one way. So they go to uni, and do you know there's only one chapter in your whole uni degree as a doctor on diet? And
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's the majority of health, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? What you put, what you consume.
Most
like
health issues come from diet.
I can't remember the last time, like, knock on wood, I've taken medication. Not even a Panadol. Like, you know, because I remember I was listening to Tate, and he was saying that he learned from his father, like something like a headache. You know, people are like, oh, I got a headache, I'll take Panadol. But there's a reason for your headache. And one of the main reasons for headaches is you don't have enough sodium in you.
Yeah.
So having salt water actually brings up your sodium levels, and a lot of the time cures your headaches, which I've learned because that's what I do now.
Yeah.
And then just little stuff like lemon water, tea with honey, you know, natural remedies. Like a lot of these things cure a lot.
The sun, cuz.
The sun.
Oh, yeah,
the one thing that we weren't, the one thing we weren't supposed to be doing during COVID.
Yeah. Stay indoors.
Don't look
yeah.
at the sunset.
Stay indoors. Wear a mask when you're in the car by yourself with the windows up.
Yeah. Only allowed 1 hour a day of
Of exercise.
I remember when people were putting the mask on the review mirror and just recycling it, and then every time they...
Yeah, man.
I don't understand people.
Man.
People were wearing the same mask for 8 hours at work. You know how bad that is for you? Breathing in your own air for 8 hours?
I had this doctor that I went to go and get my eyes checked for some reason why she was... we're talking about the ABJ and about... You know what I mean? Sicknesses, this and this. And then... I forgot where I was going with this, but... she found it to be... Like, she was actually telling me that I was going to die if I didn't get it.
Do you remember the time when we were working in Canberra together and that lady lost it and went and complained to the owner because you didn't sign in?
Oh, yeah.
So Zachy actually got told off by a lady because he didn't sign in and use the QR code
Oh god.
at a store. One of the 50 stores we went to on that strip we didn't sign into, and a lady was telling Zachy that it's for our health and how can we be so selfish.
Sorry, guys.
I'd love to see what that lady's doing now and her view on it now.
She's probably still wearing a mask.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
One of those.
Far out. That was about 3 years ago now.
Oof.
It's insanity. The whole like I still can't believe that was real and that we went through that.
I reckon it was a big test for little 15-minute cities.
Oh, that was
you
definitely a trial run.
You couldn't
It
leave
was.
your... What would they call it? Your LGA?
Yeah, LGA.
LGA, yeah.
LGA.
You couldn't get out of your legally general area, whatever it was called, or leave within 5k. Or have a good enough reason to go to shops. If you were hungry, or if you wanted to go to Woolies because you felt like cooking a chicken pasta that night or something, and you didn't have those groceries at home, but you had other groceries,
Yeah.
you were told to stay at home and use what you have.
Oh, you know what baffles me? I remember I used to train with one of my friends out in the park. And I remember we had to look on a map because the radius, and then I figured out that the radius wasn't... So if it was like 2 kilometers, it wasn't like 2 kilometers on your map. You were allowed to do 2 kilometers to the radius.
Lineal. So if you need to get you need to get a protractor out, you need to get like a string. You need to get a string and then draw a circle around your
Yeah,
and see where you could go.
Oh, bro, how was that 3 years ago? Wow. Like, imagine someone telling us 5 years ago, this is what we're going to go through. While we're on this topic, the big man itch.
They saw it all coming.
I remember in February 2020, he sat me down right here in his back room, and he said, and it didn't even hit Australia yet, and he was telling me, he was showing me the data, he was showing me the amount of money that the Bill and Melinda Foundation, Gates Foundation, has donated to vaccines for the cause.
You said the word.
It's
alright, don't worry about it.
Anyways,
Kicks cancelled.
I'm getting cancelled now,
It's
guys. This
finished.
is my last episode. Go on.
I'm just talking about like the smallpox ones and stuff from back in the day. That's
Yeah.
it, you know, I'm not talking about...
Measles, mumps, rubella.
Yeah. Anyways, and he was showing me the thing, and he was saying that this COVID thing is going to be massive. And I was like, nah, man, like, this is... Because in my head, the only time you ever heard about stuff like this was, like, Ebola or something.
Bird flu,
Yeah,
swine
we-
flu.
like,
They
all I
all
knew-
came and left.
No, but all I knew was, like, at the time, it was in China. Like, oh, it's not going to leave there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you hear about this. And then he showed me the funds, and he's like, look, man, they've donated this much. They're going to force you to take these ABJs. And I laughed at him. I said, bro, you're fucking crazy. No, he goes, bro. He's like, look how much money they've donated to this. They're not going to give you the option to take it. And I'm like, bro, even if it comes here, they'll bring a ABJ over and they'll just let whoever wants to take it, take it. Because that's all I ever knew,
Yeah.
you know? Like, you know, back then, if you wanted to go overseas and you wanted to take an ABJ, you could. You didn't have to. So he goes, nah, man, I'm telling you, they're gonna force it on us.
You just said this February 2020.
2020.
And then
And
March
I was looking
2020,
at,
that's when it hit.
I was looking at him like, and I was telling him, bro, you're losing it. You're going crazy. I was telling him back then. That's the reason why I stood staunch and I never took it because he predicted it.
Yeah,
And yeah, February 2020 didn't even come to Australia yet.
yeah. Wow, man. Edge was always ahead of his time. He knew what was up from the get-go.
Yeah, so like, and there's a lot of people I know. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a few people that I know that had similar kind of thoughts beforehand. Like even someone that I know, his brother one day just started hearing voices, and he wasn't someone that was on drugs or anything, and he started to become very spiritual and very religious, and that like he believes that it was like Jesus talking to him saying that evil is coming, and this was in December 2019, and like just kept telling him evil is coming and stuff, and to get out of the city and just go to a farm. And everyone thought he was crazy and like started taking drugs, but he didn't. He just had kind of like
It just came to him. Something came to him.
Yeah.
Told him of what was going to happen.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, what a time to be alive, eh?
Yeah, man. Like they done it well. They were paying celebrities to promote it.
Oh yeah,
Athlete-
everyone was controlled.
Athletes, media outlets.
But that's what I tell everyone, because even this campaign that we had, the Yes one, you know, like when you just look at it, you'd be like, okay, they're trying to include Aboriginal people. Like, how good is that?
Yeah,
You know,
inclusion.
after everything they've been through,
Mhm.
you know, they make you feel guilty if you vote no.
Yeah,
And they paid celebrities. It was paid partnerships for celebrities to vote yes. And then the no vote was actually getting censored. So doesn't that tell you something? If something is getting censored and celebrities are getting paid to do the opposite, isn't there maybe more of an agenda behind it than
Yeah.
what we can see? Because on the outside, they're like, oh, why wouldn't you want Aboriginals to have a voice?
yeah.
You
Full
know?
guilt trip you.
Like, man, how many times have we spoken about what Aboriginals have been through and how disgusting it is? You know?
100%.
It's just when you look a little bit more into it and you realise there's more of an agenda behind it, and this leads to more taxes.
More red
of-
tape.
If they turn around and they say that the house that you're living on is a certain Aboriginal land, what happens then?
It's where I live in Padstow. All the land that is like in and around my streets, it's all Aboriginal land. Well,
Which means-
I've got to give up my house that I paid for.
Which means the government can offer you any amount and you've got to take it.
Damn.
You can't stay there anymore. It ends up being a crime. Even if you own the house, it's a crime to live in your own house. So that's what I'm saying. Like, on the outside, it looks like there was a guy that Mick was telling us about, the one that lived on the water.
Yeah.
This guy lives on the water, and the government's come to him and said, "Oh, you're living on certain Aboriginal land. He cannot pass this down to his kids now. So he's allowed to live in it until he dies, and then it becomes the government's land."
That's insane. Australia is becoming so much more communist day by day. It's quite scary, man.
Yeah, but they're very smart with how they do it, because it's all results back to the inclusion.
Yeah.
We're trying to include the Aboriginal
They get the public
people.
behind them, and
But
then
they're,
that way.
but they're really included. See, this is something that doesn't make sense to me, right? They're not denied education, they're not denied Centrelink, they're not denied Medicare, they're not denied anything. If anything, they're given more than what an Australian citizen was to get growing
There's always
up, you know
that
what I
box.
mean?
Are you Aboriginal or Torres
Yeah,
Strait
if you're
Islander?
Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander, obviously you get more benefits, and you have the as a youth worker, for example. If you're Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander, I'm pretty sure you can do youth work without doing the course. So you can get straight in without even doing the after school. And for me, it's not enough. It's always like you got to give a bit extra. You got to go and do this, and you got to go and do that. And for me, it's all bullshit.
Yeah, but like when you look at it, like, okay, Aboriginals were treated really bad, and I agree they need to be compensated.
Yeah, but who treated them bad? Was it you?
No.
Was it you?
Captain Cook.
Captain Cook. Okay, so it was neither of us. It was someone who lived... How old's Captain Cook now? Over 100 years ago?
Yeah, look, I understand. I do believe they need to be compensated, because at the end of the day, people have come in and taken their land. This is like, we will never understand how much it's hurt these people, you know, like, because it's not our land. But they are, like you said, they have been getting compensated, and they do have a voice. Do they not have a voice?
They have the loudest voice, man. Honestly, they like...
I think it's very close between them and the other
LGBT? Yeah, honestly, man. They've got the two biggest voices right now.
Yeah, but like...
If you're a person of colour, or if you're a person of Lutyville, then it's...
What was that?
Lutyville, it's like CAC. Luty is like a term for homosexual. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
straight out. So, so if you're in either or, you're far ahead of me.
Yeah,
honestly, for a voice.
And the thing that baffles me is, so they're included, we know that, and they do have a voice, and there are people in Parliament that are Aboriginal. What is this bill passing now? What was that bill gonna add?
That bill makes sure that a certain percentage of Parliament is Indigenous and Torres Strait, which for me is such bullshit, because
It should just be the person that is the best for the job.
If you have the prerequisites and you have the best skill for a certain job, then that person should be getting the job.
That's like one of my mates. One of my mates, he was he was trying to get into the fireys. It came down to him and a female, and there was two exams. There was a physical exam, which he absolutely pumped her in. She didn't even finish it, and then a maths exam. She beat him in the maths exam. She got accepted, and the guy said that we have a quota of how many females we need to have in here.
Oh, they got the quota, yeah. Okay.
Quota.
See
So
that?
it's not
For a fiery.
there. What is maths gonna do? That's better than physical. This guy, she did not finish the physical exam. So when it comes to a fire, who is better to be on the floor and trying to save civilians?
So what, if my house is getting burnt down and my kitchen needs to be mopped, is that what she's coming in for? Or some dishes need to be done, is that what she's coming in for?
Let me one up you on this one. Same situation, right? They got the quota for ethnic people, women, trans, whatever. It's not a firefighter we're talking about. It's an aeroplane company that I will not name because a lot of people have gotten assassinated by mentioning this certain
Seriously?
company's names and blowing the whistle as to why the planes are failing. Because there's been a big trend. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a big trend of fucking aeroplanes having a lot of problems in the sky.
Sorry, Kicks, bro.
No, it's
Sorry,
it's
bro.
fucking it's horrible, bro. Like.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you remember we were in Melbourne? We were in Melbourne, yeah, and we were coming back to Sydney. And we're at the airport like 6 a.m. in the morning. Well, obviously, we're a bit tired. We're coming back. And then do you remember a certain airline said, come to the cafe so you can take a photo with a drag queen.
It was Virgin Airlines, yeah. I couldn't believe where I was. I thought I was at the fucking circus Kicks.
So
it was
they
that bad.
said on the announcement, come to the cafe so you can take a photo with a drag queen that was part of the airlines. So isn't that already telling you that it's not the norm? It's not
Yeah.
normal. If we have to go, why aren't you saying take a photo with a man? Because I mean it's normal.
Or like maybe the Easter Bunny or someone dressed up in like some form of thing. And then me and Joseph, just by chance, we're walking past that area, we look over and we see some colourful giant.
He was
You know what I
bro,
mean?
he was
Like-
7 foot
Yeah, like
Oh,
massive.
God.
And I'm looking and
in
I'm
heels
like,
as well.
And I'm looking and I'm like, how is this getting promoted?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how is this not, hey guys, come to our cancer raising foundations where you can sit down and talk to people who have been victimised by a certain disease
Yeah.
and who have lost family members to a certain cause, and if you want to donate, you can donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't, whatever. And what did you get us to donate to today?
Oh yeah. I wanna say
I know
it right.
Woolies-
I don't wanna.
I know Woolies asked me the other day if I wanted to donate to a certain
Yeah.
charity.
It's funny because people don't realize how that stuff works. Everyone's like, "Oh, Woolies are doing such a good thing," because when you round up, I've never rounded it up ever.
The company that's profiting billions each year
Billions?
is asking us.
It's asking the
me-
people that are struggling right
Yeah,
now.
it's asking me for an extra 30 cents to donate. Why don't
Because-
you guys take 10% of my purchase and why don't you guys donate that to the charity? Instead of asking me for an extra 30
gonna
cents.
fuck
Because
with
they
their
don't
profits.
realize. No, a lot of people don't realize that how it works is that money that gets donated it's all a tax write-off.
Mhm.
So it's all benefiting that company.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it because they feel sorry for the Cancer Foundation.
It's
And-
financial incentives.
So I got asked today when I booked a flight to donate 63 cents on top of what I already paid to offset my carbon emissions.
What does that even mean?
Everybody has a carbon
Let's-
footprint apparently these days.
Let's work
Eating meat-
together.
Eating meat apparently
Yeah, yeah.
is causing environmental damage. Apparently.
Are you ready?
Meat-
Let's work together to reduce our environmental footprint by offsetting the carbon emissions from your flight. WebJet's Sustainable Traveller program directs 100% of your contribution to verified carbon offset projects around the world. So what I still don't understand is how 63 cents of my money is going to offset carbon emissions. I don't even know what that is, bro. But I don't know how 63 cents of my money is going to offset that.
It's gonna go towards the 15-minute city fund that they're gonna put us in very shortly, and we're gonna have carbon tax.
I can't believe
and,
people are falling for this stuff, eh?
Yeah,
Can you believe that?
Yeah,
Like
No,
this-
we have to
people
watch our
pay-
carbon footprint, guys.
I'm pretty sure Macca's was doing it last
Yeah,
year.
all the
You know, when you go through a drive-through and you make an order, and it's like, would you like to donate or like round it up to like a solid figure? You say it was like $17.60. They would be like, do you
they
want to
give you
donate?
and they
the
give you that
extra
look
40
as well,
cents?
like
And
what?
they're like, would you like to donate an extra 40 cents? And they're looking at you like, it's
Yeah,
40
yeah.
cents, yeah?
like I
No.
think it's just 40 cents.
Yeah, no.
I remember I used to always cop that when I used to go to Cotton On. They used to want to sell you the dollar bottle of water.
Yeah, or the bags.
Or the bags.
Yeah, yeah.
So the one thing that still
But at least,
baffles me.
at least they're giving you something.
Yeah. So the one thing that still baffles me is
Macca's
you know how we got rid of
and they're asking for extra money.
you know how we got rid of plastic. Yeah, we get like places you go, you get plastic. Sorry, you get paper straws wrapped in plastic. So
Yeah, that's the best one for me.
so is it just like I don't understand, and or you know the thing is we used to get bags from Woolies, plastic bags from Woolies for free. They got rid of them, and then they made you pay money for plastic bags, but ones that were a bit stronger. You know?
Yeah.
And then now they've got rid of that, and now it's paper bags that you pay decent money for, 25 cents.
Yeah, it's decent, bro, for paper.
Think about it. If you're
And
a family
99
that's
cents.
going and you're doing a whole shopping, you're doing what 6-7 bags every week, bro. Say it's $1.50 a week, yeah, bro. That's $75-$80 a year just on one place that you're going to for paper bags.
Yeah.
I carry bags in my car now.
Yeah.
When I go to Woolies, I've got like 2 plastic ones.
Yeah.
And I
you have
go,
to-
I'll
and-
take them down. I feel like an old lady.
And
you know what I mean?
people
My own
people
bags,
literally
but
say
what
like,
do you do?
oh, good on Woolworth for tackling the cause and getting rid of plastic bags, mate.
Half their
Woolworths are
shit is in
buying
plastic.
Woolworths are buying a whole 1,000 bags for probably $2. They're profiting off making this as well.
Who are the dropkicks that are saying this? I
Oh,
just want
mate.
to slap them. What the fuck is wrong with
Now
you?
the best one I've seen is when they were getting rid of vaping. Good on the Australian government for tackling this issue. So no vaping. We're allowed cigarettes because but vaping's a lot more harmful. Also, we're choosing which one's a bit more harmful. I'm pretty sure smoking is pretty harmful.
It's just whatever they can tax, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And they can't tax the vapes, so they don't make money from it, so that's why it's bad.
There was one stage where they considered taxing it, and they said that they were you'll only be able to buy it at licensed places like Coles and Woolworths behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Big companies were the ones that were
All,
gonna...
all the companies that, a certain company that I will not name, but it sounds like a rock that is black that owns everything around.
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
You can't
You know that
mention
reminds
it.
me of?
And something
Do
guard.
you know the movie Knocked Up?
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not gonna say what it is, but it rhymes with shmush motion.
Or Kanye West when he's like, I'm not going to tell you the details of the doctor.
He's a Jew.
Fucking Kanye, man.
He's a
off
clone.
the wall.
He's a clone, bro. I'm telling you.
Kanye's a clone?
Yeah.
Alright, boys, I've got a question for like each of you. He's going to
Yeah.
answer like one by one. So we've touched on some like topics about society and the way that it's going, the people that are running our countries, the people that are controlling our bank accounts, the people that we buy our everyday needs from.
Yeah.
Mentally knowing who these people are, how does it make you feel like day to day? And how do you get through it day to day?
You want to go first?
Yeah. It's ugly knowing as much as we know, but I wouldn't change it. I think it's good to be aware.
So ignorance is not bliss.
Look, depends. Like I can only say it's not bliss because I'm not ignorant. Ignorant maybe is bliss.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of things in this world I probably wish I didn't know, or I wish didn't happen, but it happens, and I know. And knowing that there's a very small minority of people in this world that pretty much own a majority of everything, literally everything. Like, you know, this laptop that you bought, you know, the same people that are funding wars, that are you know, like, it's ugly knowing that you might be contributing to this, you know, in a way, in one way or another. But I think the best way to go about it is just to try and kind of not participate in as much as you can.
Mhm.
So, for example, you know, you wanna get some groceries. Maybe go to the local butcher, local fruit market. You know, it gets harder and harder because these small businesses a lot of them have closed since
The plague?
plague.
Yeah.
You know, and that was their plan: separate the middle class. They don't want a middle class. They want, you know, the rich and the poor.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be in the middle anymore. going back to your question, but it makes me feel pretty bad knowing, we're contributing unintentionally, but there's only so much you can do.
It's hard.
Like-
Sometimes you're driving past, you need to go into Woolies to pick up a few things. Might be eggs, milk, a few different things. Might not have time to go to the butcher to pick up like your mates. You might.
Because it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And they're still open.
Yeah, the convenience
which-
is a big part of it.
You can't even go to like the petrol stations because the petrol stations are all owned by these people.
At the petrol station, you want to buy a bottle of water, it's like $5.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
Everything's
and I'm
jacked
pretty
up.
sure. Yeah, but don't you find it funny as well that like you go to say a Westfields, everything is shut except for Woolworths
Yeah.
and Coles. Like you're not allowed to be open.
Yeah.
You're not allowed. So that's what I mean. Like you got to try and keep going to these small businesses as much as you can, but there is a point where you might need something at 9 o'clock at night and there's only one place to go.
Yeah, true.
Like forces are against us.
Yeah,
They are.
exactly. And we've got to use cash as much as possible as well.
Which I admit I have been pretty slack at because it's just so convenient. You got your phone.
It is,
I
it's
was telling
super
my
convenient.
mate the other day, I don't even remember the last time I've carried my wallet around.
No, I use cash for everything, bro.
I tried to make the effort as
But
well.
see, you know what the problem is for me is like finding an ATM as well. Like it's actually, you remember how you used to have an
Yeah.
ATM everywhere?
Yeah.
They've
You
cut
know,
them
but there's
down.
no excuses. I definitely should be doing better because cash is king.
Absolutely.
And if someone tells me, like, say I go to a small business and they say cash only, I don't complain at all. Like, I don't think,
I get it.
no, I'll be like, yeah, no worries, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I'll find a place to, but it's getting harder and harder to find a place to pull out cash as well. Even used to go to Woolies and pull out cash.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, now it's
Everywhere
one
you
out
find
of
cash.
12 self checkouts cash only. And then I went the other week to pull out $200 from the teller, and they go, "Oh, the limit's 100." Like just little stuff like that. They're slowly phasing it
Yeah.
out. Slowly.
And the one that shits me the most is when you go to pay by card, they're putting the bank surcharge on top of the cost of whatever it is that you're purchasing.
Yeah.
So it's like the plastic bag analogy, but it's just made up money whenever you tap your card, just because you're using the ATM machine, the what's it called, the FPOS machine. You just get 63 cents added on top of whatever you're...
That's what Andrew Tate said. You know how he goes, like, that's why when you pay with cash, $50, you pass it on to someone else, it's $50. Keep passing it around, it's still $50.
Absolutely.
Sooner or later, when you're paying by card, that $50 ends up becoming the bank's fully.
Yeah. They just literally invented money on the spot just because you decided to tap your phone.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. That never used to happen. When we used to pay card, there used to be a surcharge. Now inflation's gone out of control, and now businesses are having trouble, so they have to pass the surcharge on to their customers.
And I remember the surcharge used to be like 10 cents. Like, I pay for my haircut now, it's 70 cents the surcharge.
Yeah. It's usually like 1 to 3% of whatever it is that you're paying. Crazy.
Crazy. Kicks, how do you deal with the mental warfare day in, day out, my friend?
So, I like to focus primarily on 3 things. Family, finance, spirituality. Not necessarily in that order, but I'm focusing on those three things, right? So family, I have my wife, I have my family that I love, they love me. I think it's important to keep that family unit alive, the nuclear family, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what they're trying to attack, to destroy. Because once you destroy the nuclear family, once the kids are the property of the state, then they could do whatever they want, and the future generations are fucked.
Very
So I
easily
think
manipulated.
the nuclear family is very important, and I think it's also important that men and women come together to find common ground and stop fucking being at each other's throats. You know what I mean? As hard as it is in today's age, after everything that we've talked about, I think it's important that we try. You know what I mean? Even if we have to beat it into their heads, not physically, metaphorically, through arguments and words, that's what we have to do. Number 2, financial system's fucked. Inflation's through the roof. Whatever the inflation number that they're saying on TV is like triple minimum what it is. That's why everything's so bloody expensive. I mean, Macca's these days, back in the day, Macca's used to be cheap food that you could just buy. And now it's just like you can't get anything for less than like $15 at Macca's.
And it used to actually be food.
Yeah, it used to actually be food as
I don't
well.
think it's
I don't
anymore.
know about that one, bro. But
I'm talking years ago. It used to be food. Now it's not food, bro. There's no way there's enough cows in the world to feed. Like, I looked it up. It was something ridiculous, like 50,000 Maccas in the world.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So are you telling me there's enough cows in the whole world to feed? And they haven't come up with all the money they have. They haven't come up with a machine to make meat.
Beyond meat, cuz.
so we got the family, we got the finances,
The
and we got the
finances.
spirituality.
Oh, one more thing on the finances. Because crypto plays a big part in it, and I think anyone who holds crypto is going to do well in the future because they're protecting themselves from the inflation and from the government overreach as well, where if you say the wrong thing in the future, your bank account can get deleted and you won't have access to any banking if they don't like you.
Yeah.
You know
It
what
happens
I mean?
now.
So I think it's important to protect yourself financially, and crypto ticks all of those boxes. And the last one, spirituality. So that comes down physical, mental, going to the gym, looking after yourself, eating a healthy diet, always being positive, practicing gratitude, everything. Do it as much in your power as possible to remain positive and to not get down as to where the world is at the moment, because it's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I mean? You got to surround yourself with like-minded people and just, do your best, and as a man, to fulfill your duty as a man, to fucking do the best in this world. And what was the saying? Don't leave any stone unturned. Yes. So those three areas, I think that's where I've been focusing most of my energy.
Okay.
And it's worked. I feel very happy. I'm very grateful to know you boys and to everything that's good in my life. I thank God.
Nice. It's a good way.
And the relationship with God. That's probably the most ultimate thing, right?
Yeah, that is another thing that I want to go back on. No matter how evil I see the world, the thing that got me through it is my faith. And I think that's one thing a lot of people in this world are missing right now is faith. And I don't necessarily believe there's a right faith. I just think if you follow faith, they all kind of have the same meaning and they preach the same values. And I think faith got me through a lot, going through tough times. And I think, when you're asked about how's it feel, it doesn't really matter because I see this life as very temporary. So, if people, like we obviously know there's evil people out there, and sooner or later, like, they're going to have to answer for their problems and what they've caused to the world. So that kind of gives me hope.
According to God, we're not from this world. We're from God. This world is just this temporary satisfaction test that we've been put on this earth to go through. And
I believe that.
It says, from dust we were created and from dust we will return. So it's a nice way to know that one day we will return to God. I'm not too sure if he'll be happy with us just yet. We still have a lengthy period to live and show like what we can do and try to like help out as many people as we can along the way. And just keep like our faith strong and just know that there are also good powers at work.
Definitely.
Absolutely. There's good and there's evil. What about you, Zachy? How do you get through life and not lose your mind?
Life, I haven't been taken too serious lately. Life, I feel like now that I've been getting a bit older, I turned 30 a few weeks ago, I feel like...
Happy birthday.
Thanks, man.
It was a great birthday.
Thanks, bro. I feel like every day, like you just get up and it's sort of like just a certain routine and the days sort of start mashing in into the years and then like weeks and months, you know what I mean? Time, like you blink and then you're 18, then you blink again and you're 21 and then you blink again, you're 25 and then you blink and then you're 30 and it's just like, okay, I've made it this far. Doing certain things, but just the last maybe like a year or so, my relationship with God has gotten a lot stronger and I think that's helped out a lot. It's also brought a lot of problems because I feel like when your relationship starts to grow with God, that's when problems start arising.
That's when the devil tries to get you.
Yeah, these are like true tests of character and
getting tested.
Yeah, it just it tests your faith And going through these changes and going through these obstacles and stuff like that, like the more closer you get to God and to your faith, the more challenges start to arise, and you shouldn't get upset if you're getting attacked or these problems start to arise, you know, because even Jesus was hated by this world, you know.
He who never sinned.
Yeah. He who never sinned was hated by the world. Like, what makes you think that we won't be hated by this world as well? And honestly, if we were to put this out there for the world to hear and see, don't get me wrong, a few people will be on board with what I have to say, but you're going to have a few people who are going to hate us.
Always. If you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong.
I agree. And yeah, just doing my thing, just day to day, just trying to focus on what's important, you know, family, work, God, I think is like the only three things that sort of have priority in my life at the moment. You know, the rest is just bullshit side quests that we do from time to time. You know, I might have like a hobby here and there. I still play soccer on weekends and stuff like that. Keeps
family, work, God, finances, family, spirituality. It's pretty much the same thing.
As long as you have all three things, don't get me wrong, I say work, family and God, but I'm not completely excelling in all departments, you know what I mean? Like, I could be doing better.
Of course, yeah.
I'm not talking from a place where like I've completely mastered these categories and I'm excelling in everything and everything's going well and smooth and everything like that. Like, I'm still working, you know, every day new challenges are arising for me as well. And I'm just taking each day as it comes, but as long as I know that when I wake up in the morning, I get on my knees and I pray to God, and I do the same thing before bed, I know that I'm keeping my relationship with Him. I'm keeping my relationship with my family. I'm trying to build networking and connections through business, because it is a tough life and I'm not going to make it through this life on my own. You know what I mean?
We always need help. Absolutely.
I need a lot of help, and so do the people around me. And as long as everybody can help each other, then maybe one day everybody can sip on like pina coladas, you know, somewhere on a beach, relax, have a good time.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have any other questions? Anything else you want to cover before we wrap up?
No questions. Just the two wolves. Do you talk about the two wolves? Do you like hear about it too much or no? Because that was something that
chatting it with Idge.
That was something that Idge used to talk about all the time. You know, the two wolves that live within us. So in each of us live two wolves, and one wolf is pretty much based off positive emotion. The other one's based off negative. So one is caring, mindfulness, happiness, all that stuff like that. That feeds on the inside. And there's one that is based off negativity, that feeds off negative emotion, anxiety, depression, sin. And it's our choice in which wolf we want to allow out and show to the world. And these two wolves live in every single person. It's not just us. And it's your choice at the end of the day which wolf you want to feed. So the one that you feed on the positive emotions and the one that you allow the positive people into your life, that's the wolf that's going to prevail. But then when you start letting the negative people into your life and you start focusing on all the negative things, the negative wolf starts to take over. And then that's when it starts to actually it gets implemented in your life. You know, you start lashing out, your thought process starts to change, doesn't become as clear. So it's whichever wolf you feed. So just make sure that you're always feeding on the positive emotion, even if things aren't going your way. Just know that whatever you're feeding on the inside is what's gonna make you.
It's gonna manifest on the outside as well.
Thanks, Kicks. You took it out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. The two wolves. I don't think I've ever heard Idge say that. Yeah, but it makes sense, because how you feel inside is the way that you're gonna, you know, manifest it in the real world. And if you're feeling like shit all day, if you eat shit all day, you're gonna be a shit cunt.
Another thing Idge used to say is, like, trust your gut. Like, that's like a lot comes from your gut. So you know, what you said, what you feed yourself every day. If you're feeding yourself shit every day, you're gonna feel like shit.
Yeah, this comes to food, you know, as well. It comes to everything.
100%. It's all inclusive.
But nowadays, it's, you know, I feel like shit, and you go to the doctors, Like, say, you know, you go to the doctors, my stomach's hurting me. All right, do they ever ask, how's your diet?
Never.
No, okay, that seems like you've got this problem. Here, I'll
Here's a
prescribe this
prescription.
medication, which I get commission for. And no ask of how's your diet's going. Like, I always use this story. I went to the doctors once because I was getting a few pimples on the side of my leg. And they prescribed me tablets. And I was like, why are you prescribing me tablets? I thought, well, I'd come and get a cream. They're like, no, these are new ones. And I remember I sent them to Idris. And I said, bro, do you know much about these? And he looked up, and there was probably about 15 to 20 side effects from these tablets.
Just for pimples.
Just for pimples on the side of my leg, which a bit of cream probably would have helped. And then you know what ended up getting rid of them? Idris got me to add more greens into my meals.
Eat the rainbow.
Something as simple as that.
Can't look at a rainbow the same way.
He always used to say, eat the rainbow, make everything colourful.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. Like at the end of the day, it came back to food. Never once have I gone to the doctors, even when I, you know, anything, and I went to the doctors for. I've got a headache. All right, here, take this. You know, never once. How's your diet? You know, and that's the thing that nowadays, being depressed and having anxiety is so popular.
Oh, yeah.
Because people are lacking their self-identity, you know? And
A lot of people are lost, yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are lost. So when you're lost, what do? You want people to feel sorry for you. How do you get people to feel sorry for you? Oh, I've got anxiety, you know, like I can't be around too many people, and then everyone comes, oh, like, are you okay?
Make sure you're okay.
You know, making sure you're getting that attention that you wouldn't normally get. You know, so it's becoming so popular now. All these rappers, all these like music that we're listening to, it's all about people on the verge of killing themselves and
Really?
you know,
Is that
got
what they're fucking putting out there these days?
Anxiety
Yeah.
and depression was never a big thing when I was in
There's
school.
albums that are literally called like they've got anxiety and death.
Depression I've heard of, anxiety not so much, but you know what, anxiety in the last maybe 3 to 4 years has
skyrocketed.
increased. Yeah, every
Skyrocketed.
single person I know has had a...
But it's become such a normal term, like, oh, stop doing that, that gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, like people are just saying that now and you're putting it out to the universe. You know, like we said with the whole wolves.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing something and I don't like it and I'm saying, look, don't do that, it's giving me anxiety. You keep putting that out to the universe, you're going to start feeling
That's
that.
your reality.
And
That's
guys,
gonna-
we have a solution for anxiety, by the way. So in Philippians 4 in the Bible, verses 67, it says, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer, petition, and by thanksgiving. So it's pretty much telling you, in order to get rid of your anxiety, thanks give to God. So give thanks. You know how they have Thanksgiving in America?
Yeah.
They start talking about what they're grateful for.
Gratitude, yeah.
So the same part of the brain that targets anxiety is the same part of the brain that targets gratitude.
Yeah, I've
So
heard this
if
one.
you're grateful, you can't be anxious and grateful at the same time. So if you're feeling anxious, you just start thinking about things that you're grateful for, your job, family, loved ones, whatever it may be, and your anxiety should start to fizzle away.
Absolutely. That's gold right there.
Yeah.
And it's in the book. It's prescribed by the book.
That's it.
Gratitude, man. That's what it comes down to. We're doing a lot better than a lot of people in this
Yeah.
world. You know?
Gratitude is it's one of those words that's been bastardized by a lot of the mainstream like hippies and like, yeah man, you gotta practice gratitude, you know.
Yeah.
But it's true, you do need to practice gratitude.
Each all the time. Delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Every single time. I used to always hear him say, delayed gratification, you know. You be grateful when you work towards something, and it might not happen overnight, but in due time you're going to start seeing results.
Boys, I don't know if you feel the same way, but whenever like I'm deep in thought and then I'll think back like a lot of the conversations that I had with Idge, and I'm just like, fuck man, this guy was so fucking smart. He taught me so much. He was so just gifted with that kind of mind. And I would think about it and ponder on it, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, it's funny because shout out to Jake KIWK.
Jakey!
Yeah, because he's become pretty spiritual as well, and I was telling him how, you know, that Idris in the Bible is actually translates to Enoch. So, and the way he passed was that he actually didn't die. God took him. And
So he's the only character in the Bible,
Yeah.
by the way, who gets taken by God, doesn't die.
he doesn't die. He gets taken by God because like he did what he needed to do here, pretty much.
Enoch.
Yeah.
Enoch.
Enoch.
Funny enough, I read it. Maybe about that's what actually got me into the Bible. The first day that I started reading was
Yeah.
in Genesis, and I read about Enoch, and then I translated the name, and it came up as Idris, and then that's what made me start to. And humans didn't live to 100 years back then. They used to live to about 1,000 years,
Yeah.
because God wanted humans to live longer.
He died at 365, wasn't it?
Yeah, he died
Yes.
at 333 years old, which is pretty much a third of the human life, and that's just about the time that age was taken from us. So I found a lot of comfort in that, and that's what helped me. That's what actually restored my faith in God. I saw
Well, it's
that,
funny
and it
because
was just-
I've known about that for ages, and for some reason last Thursday I just decided to call Jake and tell him about that. And like I just felt this urge to call him and tell him, and yeah, like since then he's just been reading that kind of chapter.
I think I sent that to you. Yeah,
I think he did.
Yeah,
That was ages ago, but
that's when I first. It would have been like maybe 2 to 3 years ago now. That's when I
Yeah,
started
yeah.
like reading and getting onto it a bit more.
Yeah, like I think he was here for a reason, and he did what he needed to do. That's my kind of perspective on it. He changed me. He's changed all of us, but there's a lot of things that he's taught me that I would have definitely been different if it wasn't for his teachings. And yeah, but I do know what you mean, man. Like, yeah, he was way ahead of his time.
Yeah, I just have these moments where I just think back and I'm like, oh my God, this conversation that we had, and it just still sticks till this day. It's so profound.
I don't think I'd be who I am today without him. Honestly,
Same,
yeah.
same.
Yeah, man. But yeah.
We wouldn't be doing this podcast right now without him.
No way.
No.
There's no fucking way.
Crazy how many people, like, just look at your birthday.
Yeah.
How many people were together there because of him? Like, kind of.
I think maybe half.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than half.
Well, you guys would have met through Idge.
Yeah. I met Abbo,
Abbo
all those
and that,
boys, yeah, through
them,
Edge, yeah.
Who are like all good. Bobby as well.
Yeah, Bobby I met through Edge. I was talking to Bobby the other day, actually. He came
Yeah.
and done a job at like my brother's place, and we actually
Nice.
like hugged each other as well, because we were talking about Edge. And I'm like, this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Edge.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh no. And he went, I gave him a hug, he gave me a hug.
It's funny because even like my missus, yeah, obviously she wasn't around when Idge was around, but where she lives, it's under like a bridge down in the water, and like we used to always drive past there like growing up. Like it was just like the land unknown down there. And then I remember probably in November, so Idge passed in January. I remember in November we're driving over it, and he goes to me, he goes, "Have you ever been down there?" I go, "No." I'm like, "No, I haven't." He goes, "It's actually really nice. It's like you should go down there one time." And then when I picked my girlfriend, who was like wasn't my girlfriend back then, up for our first date, like she told me her address, and then I didn't even know where I was going, and I went down there,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, "Wow." And
I've
that's when
been
I
down,
kind of,
I've been down there with him before.
yeah, and that's when I kind of like I think from then I even kind of knew like, wow.
Is that on the way to Sutherland?
It's like
Yeah.
that
And
Warren,
that's-
Warren-
that Warrenara. You go
Yeah.
down and you start going down that thing, and then
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like a big
But
park
like
with lots of
you wouldn't
benches
go
and stuff.
down there unless like
Yeah,
needed to get somewhere.
you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't just go down there to eat, you know. So it was always like the land unknown, and then, in about November he told me, "Have you ever been down there? Like it's pretty nice down there. You should go down there sometime." And just so happens my girlfriend lives down there, and
Oh,
I'm down there a lot now. You know, so just little stuff like that. It's crazy. And there's another thing that happened. This was crazy as well. So there was this movie. By the way, guys, this is all VHS. They're not books.
Oh, there we go.
We haven't
Yeah.
commented on this yet.
Yeah, because these aren't books. These are all VHS tapes. And the reason why I collect them is because I love the old school movies. I don't like any of this new stuff with agendas in them. It's the old school hard shit. You know, some
Absolutely.
Sylvester Stallone. We got Van Damme, Steven Seagal.
You think you're gangster, but you ain't gangster if you don't got a video easy in your
Yeah,
fucking
this
house,
is a proper
bro.
video easy. Anyway, so one of the tapes that I always wanted to watch, and it was called BMX Bandits. It's a very old movie. It's probably early 1980s. I didn't know where it was filmed or anything, but I always wanted to watch it. And it's got Nicole Kidman in it, but when she's young, like I'm talking maybe 13, 14, so it was a long time ago. And I was working once, and I said to myself, you know what, I haven't seen a sign from Idris in a while, and I'd love to see a sign. That night, I end up going on Netflix, and I end up typing in, because what I do is whenever I'm watching Netflix, I don't watch new movies, I just write 1990, and then whatever movies from the 1990s will come up. I see BMX Bandits, I'm like, actually it was 1980s, because that's from then, and I pressed on BMX Bandits, and the first scene, so it's them on BMXs, and they're riding their bikes on a footpath. I said to myself, I know this footpath. Anyways, I'm like, that's in Australia. That footpath is right where Idris passed away.
Whoa.
And I looked it up, and just so happened that it was the footpath, like there, of where Idris passed away.
Whoa. Is that near Manly?
DY. Yeah.
DY.
Yeah, and they were riding their bikes on the footpath right there, and I recognised the footpath. Mind you, I didn't even. It was just like them zoomed in on the bikes, and I could just recognise this footpath. I'm like, bro, I know this place. Because we used to go there heaps as a kid. And then I looked it up, and yeah, it said this movie was filmed in DY and Sydney.
Oh, wow. Holy moly.
Like, what are the chances of that?
Yeah, we're asking for a sign and then getting one.
Yeah, like the same day. Like any movie, I could have watched any movie, and how many movies are like filmed in Sydney, and I just happened to pick the one movie I didn't even know was filmed in Sydney. I thought it was an American movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuck, the universe works in mysterious
Crazy,
ways
man.
sometimes, man.
Like that can't be an accident.
No, there's no way. There's no way. Like,
He's always with us.
Yeah, like the odds of that being an accident is like
there's
you're better
forces.
off
There's
buying
forces
a lottery ticket.
beyond our comprehension that we don't know about that links all of us together in ways we don't know.
Bro, we know a sand
Yeah, literally a grain of
on a
sand.
beach. That's how much we know.
Well, you see us when they zoom us out,
Yeah.
and look at how small the planet is in this whole.
Look like ants.
You know, so I think it's
in the
very.
Milky Way, the Earth is just like a speck of dust.
I think it's like for us to believe we're the only walks of life in this whole universe. I think that's very sheltered kind of way. Like I like my mum after Idris passed, she got into watching near death experiences. It gave her a bit of hope and stuff like that. And they all kind of say similar things of what they've seen. And they say when you go when you pass away, they say like you see colours that you didn't know existed. You know, you can't comprehend new colours because you've never seen it.
Yeah.
You know, but like, and the way they explain it, it's like a whole, and you think you've gone, because they obviously come back to life and tell their story. They feel like they've been gone for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And it was like a matter of seconds. So like the whole time was like an illusion.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
A DMT trip.
Yeah.
And they say before you die, your brain releases a whole bunch of DMT.
Yeah.
To kind of like that's the chemical that releases in your brain, and it helps you pass from this life to the next life.
It's
And
crazy,
the bright lights and the colors that you are so vivid, and you know it's a very spiritual experience.
Yeah.
And for someone to have a near death experience and come back from that to tell that, it's quite fitting.
And all of them say like, I don't want to be here because I've seen what it's like to be in the next life. Like, just this life doesn't do it for me. You know, like, but yeah, I think there's so much, like you said, we're just a grain of sand that we know. Like, I think there's so much out there, and I think we get sheltered by a lot. I think they know a lot more, and they don't want us to know that.
Oh, absolutely. They know so much more than us.
If you know, if everyone knew that there's another life, that faith is real, you know, their approach on life would be a lot different. You wouldn't have these OnlyFans models.
No, definitely.
You wouldn't
not.
have people doing this evil stuff that they're doing.
No, it's all of that stuff is just such a low level consciousness. Whereas when you get to the higher realms of consciousness, you see life for what it really is. and you won't interest yourself in that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and this whole attack on religion, like that's all for a reason, because like people that have religion, like and believe in something are normally more, what's the word? They're not known. They wouldn't do certain acts, that atrocious acts that people that
It's
don't.
their conscious.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things I wouldn't do because, like, even if I knew I could get away with it, I wouldn't do it because I think of the repercussions in the next life. So imagine everyone thought that. Imagine everyone followed their religion and that. So that's why I believe there's an attack on religion, and it's even in the Bible. I don't know exactly the passage, but it's something along the lines of like the believers will end up being seen as what they're doing is wrong, and the people doing wrong will be seen as doing right. Which is what's happening now with a lot of things. Like, do you remember the thing that happened a bit more than a few months ago now, when that the community came down to the church?
Yeah.
They broke across. So they came down to the church, protest in front of the church, broke across in front of religious people. These religious people retaliated, and the news report was Christian extremists.
Of course.
They were seen as extremists. This community came down to their place of worship, broke their symbol, and expect them.
Is that when they were being surrounded? And then the cops came
Yeah.
and tried to shield them from. Yeah, I remember that.
And you know what's funny about that whole thing? So when the Christian community wanted to go down to Newtown, they got calls from the police saying, you come down, you'll be reprimanded and you're going to be charged. So they didn't go down. The Christian community knew that this community was coming down to the church. They called the police, and the police said there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh my god.
They wanted this to happen so that you could label them as Christian extremists.
I was happy to finish on a good note with Edge and the whole, the whole experience and stuff like that. I thought it was a nice way to. This is going to get me worked up again. I was in cruise mode, I started to relax a little bit.
You can start throwing shadow punches.
Better change my maps to see which route I'm taking home now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a big attack on religion, all religions, because all religions preach the same thing if you look into it, like if you're following it properly, and that is actually a threat to the people in charge.
Yeah, they don't want religion to be mainstream because it gives people hope.
And that brings the family unit together.
Yeah, it makes it stronger. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want the state to be the religion.
Yeah.
Science
as well.
Yeah.
Science is...
And science, yeah.
This whole Scientology and all of this stuff.
Oh shit, don't talk about those guys.
I'll probably get shot in my sleep. But yeah, and it's been said in the past that science will be the new way of life. They want that to be. All these people getting brain chips. Neuralink. The day I get something like that embedded in me is the day I'm not me anymore. Like someone's done it to me.
That's the sign of the...
That's the mark of the beast.
Even
The
if
mark
I
of the
get
beast,
like,
yes.
I always said, even if I get like overly sick to the point where I need like tech to keep me alive,
No.
just let me go.
I refuse. Like God willing, God forbid, sorry, it never happens. If I get cancer, I'll never do chemo. I personally wouldn't do it. I'll try every natural remedy, and if it doesn't work, I'll accept it's my time to go. Because I don't believe, I believe your future is written, and you don't choose when you leave this world. So when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I've seen too many of my friends go through chemo. Who, like, one of my best mates that finished chemo probably 2.5, 3 years ago. He's still recovering from it.
Shit.
It changes you as a person, but it's not that he's recovering physically. It's the mental battle. You change a lot. Because you're killing all your cells.
Yeah, you're literally frying everything on your body.
That's what I mean.
All your hair falls off and shit. It's fucking crazy.
It can't be good for you, man.
No, dude.
Have you seen that thing where they say one thing that cures like 70-something% of cancer? I don't want to get arrested in the UK or anything, but I'm just saying this is allegedly.
The almond seeds? Is that what about?
No, they say a water fast. They
Yes,
say like
I
a
heard
whole
fasting.
fast.
I wanted to bring that up as well.
You know why? Because they said that, but they mean every fast, like everything. Because what happens is when you go a few days with no water, no food, your cells start to die, and the first cells to die are your bad cells. That's what they said. They said 70-something%.
So not even water. Just
not even
go
water.
cold turkey on everything.
Literally cold turkey on everything, and your cells start to die, and the first ones to die are your bad cells, which are the cancer cells.
I've heard like the apricots, inside the apricot, the
Yeah.
seeds, there's like a little nut inside the apricot seeds, and apparently those are supposed to be like a natural remedy for cancer as well. But
The apricots,
it's like apricot or no, it can't be walnuts. I'm like 80% sure it's apricot, bro, straight out.
bro, there's a fruit where they have a seed inside and it looks like an almond.
Almond maybe. I said almonds before, bro.
No, but
Apricot. I don't know where I got apricot from. Maybe it's almond.
No, so there's a
Definitely starts with
seed,
A.
and when you open it, it looks like a little almond in there. But
Yeah, it's
no,
an apricot.
Is it?
It's an apricot, and it's in the side of it. It's a
Yeah.
seed that looks like an almond. I've eaten it before, just like
Yeah, and it's like a jelly,
randomly.
yeah?
Yeah,
It's not
it is.
actually a... It's
It
not like
is.
an almond.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because I remember I bit into it once thinking it was like an almond.
It's so bitter.
Yeah.
That's for cancer, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know, that's a...
Apparently so, but I've
I haven't heard that
seen
one
more
personally.
than enough articles to like spark curiosity.
Alright, whatever you do, don't book a flight to UK.
Yeah, get arrested on site.
Get arrested.
What about Dr. Sebi? Oh, what a guy.
Who's that?
Dr. Sebi?
Sebi.
Come on. You guys
Yeah,
you know?
Who's that?
Bro, he was like a big doctor back in the days that like really promoted natural remedies, and then he got arrested for it,
Oh.
and then died in prison.
Oh, in the
What
UK?
was the... No, it was in America, yeah.
Yeah,
Shit.
And then what was the one thing that he was promoting highly, the sickness that he was saying he could cure?
It was cancer.
Was it no, there was something else. My phone just died. I was gonna say, because whatever it was, this is how like they rubbed it in his face. So they arrested him. He ended up dying in prison by that exact disease.
Shit.
Like that's just like to rub it in his face, I reckon.
Heavy.
He was
Well,
curing
his-
so many people.
His studies, I think, were from like 1970 or something,
He's-
or 1980.
He
and
was
his
the one
books
with the whole
were-
alkaline, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's the
his
that's why I'm
books-
surprised you don't know about it, because you're pretty big on the whole alkaline.
Yeah.
His books were banned up
Yeah.
until a few years ago.
So he's the guy, because I always remember cancer cannot thrive in an alkaline environment.
Yeah,
It's
he
only
was-
in acidic that it thrives.
Yeah.
Wow, so he's the guy that came up with those
Yeah.
I'm pretty
theories.
sure he's the one who had the cure for cancer in his book, and then it was originally sold on the shelves, and then they took it off the shelves.
And then I think it was wasn't it Nipsey Hussle? Wasn't he the one? Yeah, the rapper that died.
That died, yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to continue the documentary for the cancer and stuff like that.
Now
Like,
he's gone.
shot in the head.
Damn.
I don't know, just a few things.
Sus.
Yeah,
This is so
too many,
sus. There's a lot of sus.
too many
things.
coincidences.
You want to make a change, and then you just get blindsided.
Yeah, you get suicided. Yeah, but that's what I always find funny how Tate always just says, you know, I'm not suicidal.
Yeah.
But bro, there's been people that have full said it, and then they still end up dying of suicide, man.
I'm not suicidal either.
None of us are, I don't
No,
think.
no way. We love life too much to be suicidal.
I agree. Can't wait to see what the future unfolds for us and the kids.
Yeah.
Protect the kids.
My kids are going to be growing up on these movies.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
There's a
None-
lot to
none of
get
these-
through.
None of these new movies where you got toys that are trans and stuff like that.
Toys that are trans. What
Yeah,
a joke.
Some people, yeah, I don't know, man.
Alright guys, should we wrap
think-
this up? It's been
yeah.
fun. How
2.5 hours.
long? That's not bad.
That's Joe
Time
Rogan
flies, huh?
quality.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I think there was like a moment of silence in the 2 hours
I
as
think
well.
you're definitely going to get cancelled from this one.
Oh yeah, YouTube, please don't be cucks.
But that's what I
Let
was
it
Look,
go.
just give him 30 days,
is
if
this still-
anything.
Is this still recording? Are we
Yeah,
still
yeah,
going?
we're still going.
Just give him 30 days.
What did you want to say, bro?
No, I was talking after he stops, bro. Like,
Look, at most, give him 30 days, he'll learn his lesson. Don't
Yeah.
fully cancel him, you know?
for the boys.
For the boys. Alright guys,
Okay.
Zachy, Joey, fucking love you both.
Love you too, bro.
Love you, bro. It was nice. Joseph, nice work.
Idge.
Yes,
Love
and
ya.
Itch, can never forget Itch. Love you, bro. Alright boys and girls, ladies.